Good morning, sir.
Hello, Vineet. Good afternoon.
Yeah, hello, sir. I am audible because one of the participants mentioned that he can't hear. Saranya Arun Kumar.
Okay, maybe I think
Saranya, are we audible? Can you hear us?
Sir, you both are audible otherwise. Just I'm confirming.
Okay, right. So maybe it is an issue with Saranya.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, Dr. Puri.
good afternoon, Mohit.
Right, sir.
Welcome, sir. We'll be starting the session at 1 o'clock sharp. And Dr. Vineet, sir. You can
Right, sir.
I hope you have lined up the teams as well.
Yeah, definitely. I do have the names of the participant as well as the teams. So we have 14 teams as of now, which are scheduled for presentation, and will go as per the sequence.
And they will be given only 5 minutes to 7 minutes.
Yes.
Right? For discussions, 5 minutes for their presentation and 2 minutes for the interaction part.
Definitely.
And team members, those who have joined, please remember we will be focusing on the entrepreneur who has been allotted to you. We'll be talking about the challenges, about the opportunities, and about what all you have faced in your discussions, right? With the
Sure.
focusing on the entrepreneurs who have been allotted to you by the.
Right. So the first team is basically it comprises of Rajesh, Navnita, and Ashwin. And I guess, sir, you are the mentor.
Sir, I'm the mentor, but let's wait for 2 more minutes. I believe they'll be joining shortly.
Or maybe if we can start, sir, you have started the recording, Sandeep, sir?
I think he has started.
Okay.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Country, once the things are better, all of you can explore to come here. It's being said that there are more than 300 beaches. In fact, I have not seen all the beaches, even if I'm there from the last 3.5 years.
Right, sir. We will definitely.
Okay, this is our plan for today. Right, so we'll go for the caselet presentation to start the things, right? And then we will discuss about how we can take your caselet to the case study. Right, so right now what I'm going to do for the next 1.5 hours, I'm going to look at your presentations. Okay, so whether you're having a sound dilemma to write a case study or not. Once we have that thing, we'll move down to the next part, which is more about what is going to be the content of the case study to make it more comprehensive.
Definitely.
Just at the end of the day, maybe 15 minutes, around 3:45, we'll go for question and answers, right? And then we'll also have a discussion about our plan for day 3.
Right. Sure. So, sir, I'm not sure whether so many candidates are still waiting. Is there anyone from Team A? Team A, is there anyone from Team A comprising Baliga, Ashwin Baliga, Navnita Krishnan, and Rajesh Kumar? There is, I guess they are not present here. So maybe I can switch on to Team 2, which is of Rajan, Ranjit, Kanika, and Preeti. Preeti, you are there? Kanika and Rajan. Preeti, can you upload your presentation?
I'm giving multiple sharing options. So Preeti, you can present from your side.
Okay, sir. So let me. So can you see the presentation?
No, Preeti, I don't think you have shared anything so far.
So I think, okay.
You need to share screen and.
Vinny sir, in case guys have not made their presentation, PowerPoint presentation, ask them to simply share, give a presentation.
Okay. So, no, I guess she has prepared. Now, Preeti, we can see you have started the screen sharing. Yes,
sir.
now it is visible.
Okay. So shall I begin?
Yeah, definitely.
So good afternoon, sir and friends. We are Team B, working under Vineet Gupta, sir. The company allotted to us is TechYogo, which is a tech startup founded in the year 2015. Basically, it deals in the application development services. So let me begin with about TechYogo. So TechYogo is one of the highest rated mobile app developers based out in Canada. With offices in India, USA, Dubai, and Canada, they create mobile applications by evaluating the business aspect of each mobile endeavor and maximizing its potential through discovery and digital innovation. They are catering their services in 33 plus industries with 100 plus customers from SMBs to Fortune 500 companies and delivered around 475 plus projects in 15 countries. So TechYogo's estimated annual revenue is currently $18 million per year, and estimated revenue per employee is $145,000 till 2021. So this is the business portfolio. If you'll deal with like what are the services provided by them, like so mainly they are in Android development, blockchain development. These kind of services they provide. Like these are basically different technologies, software technologies to build applications. Then the products they have mentioned in their website is like Ava Smart Garden application. So mostly their product is applications. Few of the platforms also they support, which is mentioned in their website as well. So regarding their professional affiliations or the clients, so Vision R Pro Enterprises, Airtel Enterprises, BJP, Godfrey Phillips India Limited. These are the prominent. Clients of TechYogo, and markets they are serving or they have headquarters in 4 locations currently. That is India, Canada, USA, and Dubai. So about the entrepreneur, now it is very interesting because the entrepreneur, Mr. Abhinav Singh, he started his interview. He started his interview with the line that there's no one in my 7 generations who have built up his own business. So this was his starting line, and he was more focused on his business journey rather than his company. So he talked about his passion, where he comes from, like he comes from lower middle class family and he hails from a small town, Varanasi, and how he with his cousins have built up an enterprise and then sold it to some tech giant. So this is about the entrepreneur basically. He's a young and passionate entrepreneur having experience of running a profitable startup app studios single-handedly and then successfully selling the startup to tech giant Huawei. Therefore, cracking $1 million deal is the brain behind TechYogo. He sold his first startup at the age of 26 and built his second startup with scratch within a year after selling app studios. Today, after running his second startup, TechYogo, for 6 years, he's grappled with the same question: to expand the business in new market, maybe some developed nation, or move out of the business by selling it to some tech giants. So here we have emphasized on the so here we have emphasized on the entrepreneurial journey because he started very early in his career, and he has taken like extreme decisions, because one, he was placed in Capgemini in 2011 while doing his BTech, but when he didn't receive his offer letter, he thought of starting having his own company, so which is an extreme step in itself. And other extreme step which he took was that he sold his company to a tech giant when his company was really doing good. At that time, in the interview, this information was given by him. If we'll map the entrepreneurial journey of Mr. Abhinav Singh, so in 2011, likely I said that he graduated and didn't receive offer letter from Capgemini and founded mobile app company App Studios on June 30, 2011. Number of partners 3, number of employees were 35, and funding was received from Microsoft Docomo. Then in June 2014, till June 2014, he ran this company successfully. Number of partners were 4, and number of employees just triggered high, that is 450 from 35. And then in December 2014 itself, he established India's one of the largest mobile app profitable company with 475 employees, and decides to sell company to App Studios to Apple Singapore. Then in 2015, he founded mobile app company TechUgo with his brother, and he took no funding from anyone. It was through his own money. Then in 2021, like, he ran this company for 6 years, and today he is with the TechUgo with his 4 headquarters, and number of employees are 200. Now in year 2021, at the age of 23, he spawned.
क्या मतलब होता है बेटा? तुमने कितने % फ्लैग के साथ भेजा हुआ है मुझे रिपोर्ट सलोनी? उसमें तुमने खुद एक लाइन भी लिखी है। 95% का मतलब समझते हो क्या होता है बेटा?
Shweta, please mute yourself.
Ma'am, please.
बेटा मुझको भी है।
Shall I continue?
Yes, Preeti.
Yes, so in year 2021, at the age of 33, he's pondering on expanding into new markets or sell the startup and build a new business from scratch. So the financial information available in the public domain is this, which is not currently making sense because we couldn't talk to Mr. Abhinav right now. He was not able to give us time. So I collected this information via secondary source, and the information, I think the company type, this is unlisted private, that made sense to me. And apart from that, paid up capital and all, I have to deal in the financial aspects for that to explain. Yeah, that is it. Thank you.
Right. So, sir, would you like to give input right now, or can we discuss this later?
Okay, I think I can give a 1 minute on this thing, because
Definitely.
So thanks, Preeti. Thank you very much. Can be
Yes.
A good case study topic. Many case studies have already been published on something like this in the past. So I think you need to bring up what is the, in case I go for new market, few things come into my mind will be, right now you're talking about 4 markets.
Yes,
Have they really explored all the 4 markets, right? You're talking about US, Canada, Dubai. So first question will be, is it a big company? Have they explored all the clients, possible clients in these 4 markets? If not, then why they are thinking of going abroad?
Okay.
Move over to the business by selling to some, right now we don't have sufficient amount.
Hello, sir, your voice is breaking. Hello.
Yes, Preeti, you can unshare your screen.
Yes, sir. Sir, sir, your voice is breaking, Sandeep, sir. Hello.
Can you repeat?
You are not audible, sir.
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir. You
yes,
are
sir.
audible.
Yes, Preeti, can you repeat, Preeti? Sorry, I missed it.
Yes, sir. I was not getting your voice, sir, at that time.
Okay. So,
So-
Preeti, what I'm saying is right now we don't have sufficient amount of data to really say this is a dilemma of the company, because the company presently is in 4 countries like Dubai, Canada, US, and India. These 4 markets, I can think about entering another market basically when I have all explored these 4 markets. There's a saturation. What is the reason of moving out when you have not really explored your current markets?
Sir, actually, earlier he sold his startup for money because he is basically driven by his passion and he's not company specific. He is like a person who would just build a company, earn from it, and then invest it into some other business or something like that. So it is basically more about an entrepreneurial personality, which is also playing a role there. So
Okay,
I think
so in
yes,
case,
sir.
in that case, I think Preeti and team B, you people might have to bring those entrepreneurial traits in the case study itself,
Okay, sir.
right? So because the current dilemma is not a very sound dilemma from that perspective.
Right. Preeti, you can take your questions later. May I request team 2 to start their presentation? Rajesh Kumar, Navneeta Krishnan, and Ashwin.
Good afternoon, everyone. We will start our presentation. I'm just sharing my screen. Just give me a second.
If any team is not present, like if they have not prepared their presentation, they can start on their own. They don't have to upload.
Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Team A, comprising of Dr. Mohit is our mentor, and Mr. Rajesh, myself, Navneeta Krishnan, and Ashwin Badika from IIT Madras. Okay. Our the challenge or the entrepreneur that we were given was Whataburger. Basically, the co-founder is Mr. Rajat. He is a pilot. He continues to fly, and he has also started this venture along with his friend. Their aim is to give to form a Peppy burger joint. That was their aim, and they wanted to give good quality fresh burger to customers. They wanted to distinguish themselves from the conventional McDonald's and other burger joints by saying that McDonald's gives them a meal, whereas Whataburger gives them a wholesome, nutritious food, which is conducive for the taste buds of the Indians. So this was their aim or motive with which they started. They wanted to have good about 150 joints in the country initially. And currently, in the last 5 years, they have been able to establish good about 15 plus ventures in 13 cities in India. So when we went and interacted with them, we wanted to first understand what are the challenges that they have got. So when we first spoke to them, he listed out the various things which we then consolidated. First and foremost, he was saying one of the biggest challenge they have got is establishing the joint in an upcoming place in a city is making them pay a high rental, by which his costs are going up. So he wanted to explore all possible ways to cut cost. And he was also mentioning to us that he has been using technology to reduce cost by way of optimizing the floor space, by way of fitting their equipments either on the side walls, panels. And he was telling us that in Noida, in one of the upcoming malls, they have been able to hire a very small space that is required for an ATM joint, where they have been able to set up a kitchen and a dining space with a sitting provision for one person. So his basic one of the challenges to cut cost, primarily real estate cost. In fact, we have listed all the challenges that he had said as exhibit 1. His next biggest challenge was in handling the workers. He was saying that his workers are not interested in working for the firm. They are more keen on their personal development, or most of them want to quickly earn money and leave the company. How to make them work though when we spoke to him, we said, why don't you train them, give them training? He said, though we give them training and everything, their aim doesn't look to be motivated to work for the company. So this is his second challenge. And in fact, he himself said that to overcome this challenge, he is trying to minimize human interface in his whole operations. He wants to go more tech-based and have more equipments and systems so that the system is reliable and he is less dependent on people. The third challenge which he told us was the financial challenges, primarily administrative financial challenges in handling GST and paying money towards GST. He said in the erstwhile pre-GST era, his fund outflow for procuring an equipment was much lesser when compared to the current era where he has to pay 18% GST, then 5%. So he says that the same equipment and instrument which he used to buy earlier was 18% cheaper than what it is today. So he says his outflows and subsequently maintaining his GST accounts and all these things is a challenge. Fourth is high rental for outlet, which we have already discussed. Fifth, he wants to develop a new product. Basically, for all the vegetarians, he wants to develop meat-like food, meat. So he's developing a plant-based meat. This is not purely for vegetarian. He was saying that it is also for non-vegetarian who would like to have non-vegetarian on certain days of the week, where for various religious sentiments they cannot have non-veg but still feel like having non-veg. So for such people, he is developing a plant-based meat, and this is one of the innovative things which he says he's been doing. So, but how to take it forward and how to commercialize it is one of the challenge. Then another challenge he said was in the current COVID times, the lot of first and foremost in COVID times, he says the footfall into the restaurant has largely dropped, which is a common thing in all the food industry or food related industry. Second, he said different timings in different places. The government timings in Noida, UP, Gurgaon are all different, and he centrally controls all these places, Noida, Gurgaon, and Delhi. So he says different rules, restrictions by three different governments is creating havoc for him to do the administration. Incidentally, as we were chatting this, he was also telling us that he has a central kitchen so that they make everything centralized at that particular place so that the taste and quality is same at all the joints. Point number 7, less footfall, we have discussed. And finally, he says his dream is to make themselves a 150 outlet chain food showroom. So after listening to all his problem, we thought that he needs to be so this is his challenge. The challenge statement or the decision dilemma which Mr. Rajat is facing now is how to expand his current business into 150 outlet showroom. So what we would be looking into and advising Mr. Rajat is how they can use how they can use technology for growth. What are all the various innovations that he can do towards growth? And for all these accounting and maintaining the logistics issues, we thought he can probably think of some management accounting tool to monitor the growth and track his progress during crisis. We also discussed and we thought he can explore the option of having more franchisee. But then when he subsequently went to his website, we realized that he's operating the franchisee model as well. So to sum up, his challenge is to how he would grow from the current status to 150 amidst the crisis, the current crisis, COVID crisis that is being faced. And the proposed intervention that from current status to go to the desired status, we thought we would give him various growth strategies which he can implement. And this growth strategies would largely focus on technology, innovation, and tracking progresses using management accounting. So with this, this is what we have summed up for our, thank you.
Thanks, Amneet. Please don't close it. Let me say a few of the points. Okay. So, Namneet, how many outlets they have right now?
They have 50 plus outlets in 13 cities.
50 plus outlets in 13 cities. And how many years they have taken to open so many outlets?
Roughly 5 years. In fact, that is one small gap. When we discussed with him, he also clearly didn't say, and when we are subsequently wanting to connect with him, we are not able to connect. But that's a big gap in our mind also as to how long he had taken. In fact, his website is also not giving us that information. When did they start and what is their growth trajectory? But we will get it. We have got that. We'll get that information.
So, Namneet, first of all, I think you people have to write one thing very clearly: 150 outlets by when? By 2030, by 2025, by 2022, right? So that target itself is incomplete without the timeline.
Noted.
Right? So one thing which you have to write is 150 outlets by maybe 2025, which looks quite reasonable, looking at the current scenario also, and they are just 15 as of now, right? So
50 plus, sir. They are 50 plus.
50 plus. Okay, so maybe you can think about maybe the timeline according to his. Okay, the other thing I think, Navneet, what you have to think about is remove this 6, 7 from the picture right now, because right now what you're doing, you are getting into too many things at the same time. So either you can talk about cost plus expansion, right? On the other hand, you're also talking about HR challenges in handling workers. You're talking about financial challenges due to GST. I think that will, be, then this case can have different dimensions altogether. Going forward, you can surely think about having case study A, case study B, or maybe you can write 2 or 3 case studies on the same company. But right now, what I can suggest to all of you is number 1, challenge, quite relevant to the expansion thing, right? High rentals for outlets. Again, that can be a good point which we can talk about. Developing new products. Again, that can be a point which we can talk about, right? And then expand from current to 150, right? Less footfall due to COVID. Just remove that part also.
Okay, sir. In fact, we also. Please, Dr. Puri.
That less footfall due to COVID, I don't think we can really promote anything at this point of time to really get people inside the store when you have a lockdown type of a thing, right? I think we're already talking about adopting technology. I think he can, in that case, can collaborate with Amazon Food or Swiggy or Zomato or other things, right? That can be a thing, or drive-through possibilities to increase the sales. So instead of talking about less footfalls, I will talk more about how I can increase my sales, right? Ultimately, you want to have footfalls to increase your sales, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so underneath, what I will request all of you to do right now is think about, and you have to make some information in the case itself, talking about how much investment is required to open a store, right? So you have to talk about the fixed investment, which is going to be there, the fixed cost, which is going to be there, plus the variable costs, right? In addition to this, you also need to tell us in the case what could be the break even that I need to have a sale of around 300,000 every month to have a break even of my expenses, right? Something like that has to be mentioned. And then I fully agree with you that this can be a good case where you can talk about whether the company wants to go for company operated, company owned stores, or they want to go for the franchisee operations. And then in the teaching note, we can think about what are the pros and cons of going for a franchisee option, what are the pros and cons for going for the company owned type of a thing. Right, so that
Sir,
we can.
I wanted to add a point. And when I was speaking to him, he spoke about this developing of new plant-based meat. So in fact, this is in its testing stages. So I asked him how we would go about that. So he said that suppose say a customer comes and asks for a chicken burger, we perhaps will replace the patties with a plant-based meat and look for his reaction. I said that could have a legal implication also, because I mean, a customer would not want to be cheated. Do you think including something like this, because this is something which is still debatable. Plant-based meat testing is going on. Regulations are in place. Would testing actually be a good thing? I mean, could we write something like this where uh, uh, he says that he has tied up with certain or an organization and they would just want to do a kind of test. So I said, why not do a blind test? He said, no, blind test, perhaps not, but we would
Navneet, we'll take this. Navneet, we can take this discussion later on. I believe, others are also lined up. So more on that, you can discuss it later on by sending email or by other modes, right?
Sandeep sir, you will be kind enough to discuss the same question in the last part of this session.
Sure, Vineet.
Right. So may I request Seham, Team C, including Seham. Are you there, Seham?
Yes, I am here.
So would you like to share your screen, or would you like to? Right,
yes,
so,
of course. Do you
right.
see my screen now?
No, I cannot. I guess Mr. Navneet, he needs to remove this thing.
Yeah, I have done that. I have removed it.
Right. Seham, you can share your screen.
Just to give me one moment.
Okay.
Yes, can you see it now?
Yes. Yes.
And it's a request to all the participants to please focus on the key aspects of your case development. Rather than narrating the entire story, please be specific and to the point. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about a startup, Egyptian startup. Their name is Scarabæus. It sounds really hard to pronounce, but it means ancient Egypt in Greek language. Scarabæus team mainly focus on manufacturing cotton, clothes and outfit, and they use the 100% organic cotton. And they are doing well in Egypt in terms of sales and marketing their products on social media. And mainly this industry, the organic cotton, Egyptian cotton, this industry is kind of monopolistic, and it's dominated by one big company in Egypt. And the main problem with Scarabæus is that they get their orders delayed from the supplier, given their size and orders compared to other big accounts. And this delay sometimes cause them problems losing customers or delivering their orders late. And at the same time, the main dilemma, based on the initial interview with one of the founders, is that they have a problem with the supply chain. And they cannot establish their own factory. They cannot afford this financial burden. And at the same time, they cannot meet the deadlines for orders, and sometimes the big accounts, it's not easy for them, given, as I said, this industry is dominated by one company and they give priority to big accounts. So our dilemma is, how can they manage the supply chain to provide just in service time and meet the expectations of their customers? And actually, we presented some numbers, especially in 2020, sales, and the entrepreneur promised us to give more financials, but at the moment, this is what we have now. In 2020, they succeeded to sell 9K items, and they sell to B2B and B2C, and they made profits of 300K Egyptian pound. It's around the 20K US dollars.
So Seham, are you done?
Yes.
Okay, sir, are you there?
Yes, I'm done with my presentation.
Okay, thanks, Seham. Thank you. Seham, okay. So now I think I have a publication where I was talking about silk, the silk which is manufactured by, or I will say weaved by, the poor people in some parts of the country in India. The company is Eco-Tussar, and then we were talking about that the company is having very high amount of orders, but a company is unable to meet the requirement because company is having problem with the supply chain. Am I audible?
Yes, I hear you. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So we can surely go ahead with this. We might have to change some of the figures. 9,000 units may
Sorry,
not be.
can you, I'm sorry for interruption, but someone is not on mute, so the sound is not clear for me at all.
Okay.
Please mute yourself, all of you, please.
Okay, I have just muted others. Krishna. So I hope I am audible now. So say
Yes, yes.
Okay, right. Same what I mean to say here is this can be a good case study, but you have to maybe disguise the figures. 9,000 units to B2B and B2C may look to be a very small number for international audience. So we might have to increase the numbers, right? First thing to just make it a big problem in that case. Right? Otherwise, someone can have a simple solution that why don't you order the manufacturing of the mask to a developing country like Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, where they have Egyptian cotton as well as all these things. Right? That can be another option that can come into the picture. But when you go for high numbers, maybe talking about 10 million masks or something like that, or 1 million masks or something like that, then we can surely have some substance the dilemma in that case.
Okay, okay.
Right, Seham?
Okay, right.
To ask me.
Vineet?
I see your point.
So next team is Rosita Ghaffari, Vijeta Fuljale, and Ajay Yadav. Team is here. Anyone?
Yes, yes, yes. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are audible.
Yes, so I'm just sharing my PPT. Is our PPT visible to all of you?
No, I think Seham, you have to stop sharing the screen.
Yes, now it is visible.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. This is Team B. So I am Dr. Vijeta Fuljale, and my other team members are Dr. Rosita, and Dr. Ajay Kumar Yadav. We are being mentored by Dr. Jitendra Kumar, and the case organization that we are working on is NEVA, the Satin Collection. So I will briefly describe about the organization first. So NEVA, it actually manufactures and distributes the luxury collection items, products, which are basically produced by using satin and silk products. And the main products of this organization is silk bedding, silk slipwear, fashion accessories, and some reusable satin masks. So this organization is an year-old organization. It was founded in the year of 2020, and it is completely currently based in Dubai, and it has more than 100 customers. Currently, all the operations are run and managed by the founder of the company, that is Ms. Purva, with whom we are discussing about the case that we are going to develop. Out of all the operations, only stitching process is the outsourced operation. Otherwise, everything is run and managed by Ms. Purva. The products are made to order. So whenever the order comes, it's tailoring, packaging, and every operation starts locally in Dubai. The company operates online. So it has no physical stores right now, and it is currently promoting products only through social media platforms, majorly Instagram and Facebook. NEVA, as per our discussion, NEVA, it is planning to expand its operations to other emerging markets, and it wants to start with India. So the dilemma, we have decided to work on the dilemmas while entering the Indian market. So the first dilemma is what could be the mode of entry and mode of doing business. Like, should the company keep doing business online, or it should move to offline if it enters the Indian market, or it can have the hybrid mode as well. The second dilemma under this mode of entry and mode of doing business is how should the company enter the Indian market like through exports, maybe through exports, franchisee, direct investments. That decision has to be made. The second dilemma is what could be the market strategy to enter the Indian market. So currently in EVA, it is completely using social media to market its product. Should NIVA use the same marketing channel, or should it use other marketing channel? And if yes, so what could be the best marketing channels or marketing strategy NIVA can use? And the third case dilemma is what could be the various challenges and threats for NIVA in entering the Indian market? This case, we have at this moment decided is can teach the strategic can be used to teach the strategic management courses as well as e-business courses for MBA and executive MBA programs. And students, after doing this case analysis, student would be able to understand the challenges of expanding business into the emerging market, such as India. It would be able to analyze the risk associated with the international expansion. The students would also be evaluating various methods to enter the international market. And students would also be able to develop strategies to successfully expand to new target markets and overcome the challenges. Basically, this case would be a foundational case for understanding international expansion and growth strategies. Yeah, that's all from our side.
Thanks. Thanks, Vijeta.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Vijeta, this looks to be a good dilemma case. Many cases have already been published on something like this, but a company from Dubai thinking of entering into India, that can be, I think, you are in the right path. Maybe what I would like to know more is going to be maybe the content of the case, but otherwise for the caselet, you're looking good. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Team E comprising Mohammed Sharik, Komal Kapoor, and Ruchi Sharma. Are you there?
Yes, sir, we are here.
Okay, so whomsoever is presenting, please upload the presentation.
Yeah, can I share the screen?
Please do that.
Okay. Is it visible? Is the screen visible?
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are Team E, Sharik sir, Komal, and myself with our mentor, Professor Mohit Moria. We are here to talk about A Little Fable, which is a leading kidswear brand designed and manufactured in India itself. Basically, A Little Fable was started by Radhika Arora and her sister Smita Arora, who have 20 and 22 years of experience, respectively, in the fashion industry. In 2015, they started the label A Little Fable, considering and understanding that whatever they were exporting in terms of quality was not available in the domestic market. And they felt a major gap in the domestic market in that area. So initially in 2015, they started with home products for kids, but it didn't go well because they felt that the Indian market was not ready for it, because the product was very premium and high priced, and they did not have many takers. So from there, consumers only, they got a feedback that they should be starting an apparel brand and going into apparel, rather the product category rather than home products. So it was easy for them to move into apparel. So basically she started kids wear with occasion wear for girls, which hit off pretty well. And later on adding to the product categories of casual wear and nightwear as well. But in 2015, basically they started, and within 2015 to 2017, they opened 5 stores, one in Nirvana County, one in Galleria in Gurgaon, Saket, DLF Mall, the third, GK N Block, and MGF Gurgaon. So a total of 5 stores in all premium locations. This is between 2015 to 2017. But by mid 2018, they had to shut down all their stores. They had to shut down all their stores because it was not financially viable. And the only way they've been selling now is through online platform. They're selling through First Try, through Hopscotch, and through their own website as well. And also they felt that they needed an offline presence as well. So they retained their Nirvana County store, but with very, very less products there, because they felt that the consumers needed to see the products also before buying them. And also they felt that they should be more visible. So they opted for multi-brand outlets like Lifestyle and Iconic Kids. These are the current two multi-brand outlets where they're selling from. The product is basically for the niche market, up market. It is a high-priced girls' occasion wear. They're using high quality zippers and linings and high quality product. It's high priced as well. So their clientele is also very, very niche. Currently, they're doing well selling online. We do not have the exact sales figures at the moment. We've tried to get them from the entrepreneur, but they've not been received. But considering the COVID scenario and considering that they're also a new and a growing brand, the challenges in front of Radhika and Smita, currently are that first how to grow their business and also how to increase the presence of their business. So basically, the dilemma of how to grow the business is we've tried to divide it into two aspects, either consolidation versus expansion, because currently they're still new from 2015 to now. So should they just consider in further exploiting the niche market itself, consolidating what they have, further premiumization their brand, and limiting their categories only, not moving into further categories, or should they look into expansion of their product range? And should they bring up certain umbrella brands under a little table? Could that be an option? Or also another option could be, should they try to tap the mid-range market as well, since the just occasion wear and just for the premium market, will they be able to, are they limiting their growth prospects? The other dilemma is also online versus offline, which this was a major dilemma in front of the entrepreneur, because as per her, offline is doing well, but online is doing well, but offline is not sustainable. But however, for kids where the mothers or the parents do require to see the quality of the product and the fit of the product. So that's another dilemma. So how should they further grow on, how should they look at expansion? Should they be looking into more of, digital marketing, which they're not doing currently, and focus more on online only, or look at more multi-brand outlets to increase their offline presence? So there are other dilemmas as well related to inventory and, understanding the consumer better, but these are the ones that we thought that we should be concentrating on. We have listed down a few learning objectives as well, for which I'd like Sharik sir to take over.
Yeah, so our learning objective this time kind of basically
Sharik, I'm sorry, I'm stopping you here. We'll discuss about learning objective and question maybe after some time. Let's go back to your previous slide.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks, Ruchi. I'm sorry, Sharik, for stopping you in between.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah.
So Ruchi, I think the caselet is looking good, but you're getting into too many things at the same time. Few things are always many times obvious for the students also. For example, let me first of all start with the online versus offline. So you're talking about on website. I think in today's world, it's important. There's no discussion. I think there's no need for a discussion in the class whether the company should have their website or not. The answer is going to be yes. Okay, create an app. Maybe I think the company is not big enough at this point of time to rightly go for an app or something like that. All of us are very choosy in terms of downloading the apps on our mobiles. Tie in with e-commerce website. You already mentioned that the company is already selling its product through Myntra, Amazon, FirstCry, among others. So I think that is not appropriate here in that case because it's already having a tie-ups. Now you're talking about own stores. You have already mentioned that that may not be a good idea because of high rentals, but shelf space with the major retailers can be a good idea. So when you talk about the 5 points which you have mentioned here, I think shelf space with major retailers can be 1 point which we can take to the next level. Otherwise, in case they're not having their website, they should have their website. On stores, I think let's avoid it at this point of time. Let's get into we have too many things. So let me come down to your main part, which is consolidation versus expansion, which is, I think we can restrict ourselves to consolidation versus expansion point, right? So now you're talking about exploit niche market. I think they are already in the niche market at this point of time. So I don't know what do you mean when you're saying that exploit niche market. The next 2 points are overlapping with each other. You're talking about premiumization. You're talking about high end, right? So to me, it looks similar when you're going for premiumization or high end. Again, you're talking about limited categories. So again, I'm confused. What do you mean by limited categories and what do you mean by niche market in that case? Then you're talking about product range expansion. Okay, that is one point. We can take it. Umbrella brands, sub brands. I think the brand is not really big enough at this point of time that you can think about the brand strategy at this point of time. That's what it is coming to my mind, because I have never heard about this this company as of now, right? Tap the mid-range market. So I think our dilemma can be few in this case. First of all, you can think about the company wants to increase the sales, and what are the possible options for the company to increase the sales. And then you can say that Radhika and Smita, they are thinking about some points like, shall they expand their product range, right? Or they should tie up with some of the major retailers for shelf space, right? There's something called as store in store. I don't know whether it's happening nowadays or not. When I was working with Trident, we used to have something like this. We used to call it a shop in shop type of a concept. So yes, even that type of thing can be considered, right? So I think Ruchi, just think about something like this and try to streamline it. I have already seen your next slide also. I think let's keep this case study for not for a branding case study at this point of time, right? Let's keep this case study more about consolidation versus expansion.
Agree,
okay.
sir.
Okay.
Agree, sir.
Tariq,
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. So we have next team of Krishna Dikshit, Abhimanyu, and Nimit. All three of you are there?
Yes, sir.
So please, would you like to present?
Yes, sir.
Please share your screen. Mohammad Sharik, I request you to please unscreen yourself.
Ruchi, please stop sharing the screen. Ruchi can log in, log out if in case you are unable to do so.
Ruchi, you have to stop sharing. Yes.
So, sir, is my screen visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Yes, sir. So,
no,
good afternoon.
It is Mohammad Sharik's screen.
Okay.
Sharik, you have to leave the screen sharing option.
Sharik, sir. Yeah, I think so now.
Now, Abhimanyu, you can upload.
Yes. So, is my PPT visible to everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, Sandeep sir. Good afternoon, my dear colleagues. So, what was our initial concept of going ahead with the case study? We were visualizing from the viewpoint of the entrepreneur who has just opened her a new venture, and she is currently in the phase of a pandemic. So, whether she should step up to the challenge or should she step down, and what she should do. So this is the title of our case study: Step Up or Step Down, an entrepreneur's quandary. So we are team G. We are working on the company called Notebook. The team members are Abhimanyu, Nimit, and Krishna Dikshit. Our team mentor is Dr. Vineet Gupta. So this is our idea: what challenges an entrepreneur faced during COVID-19 pandemic, and in which ways the entrepreneur can deal with them. So these are two teaching objectives: to teach the students about the varying marketing challenges one has to face during an event like pandemic, to teach the students how to navigate the various problems posed by the pandemic in a newly started entrepreneurial venture. So these are our four questions that we want to highlight over here. How could she have expanded her business in the midst of a pandemic? Amidst a pandemic, is it justifiable to hold your ground in the local economy? If not, will it be justifiable to move outward in the foreign lands? Third, no customer means no business. Amidst a pandemic, how could she have retained her product's demand or even further expanded it? Fourth, somebody likes Indian food, somebody likes Chinese food. How could she have better reached her targeted customers? So,
Manu, can you go back to your previous slide?
objective, sir? Yes, sir.
Manu, I will request all of you. We'll discuss about questions and objectives maybe after some time. Right now, I'm looking more into your Caselet type of a thing. What is the dilemma you are having? Manu, can you go to your first slide?
Yes, sir.
Okay, next slide.
Yes, sir.
So I think this team need to fine tune. This is a very, I will say very open-ended type of a question that we can take it in every direction possible in that case.
Okay, sir.
Right.
So
So
actually, we didn't got the chance to interview our entrepreneur in depth. So we are yet to come about what would be we have to narrow it down. So we kept it open-ended for the time being.
Okay, no issues, Nimit. I think maybe, so that's what I mean to say that right now, I think you are still at the basic level that you need to find out what is going to be the dilemma of the case study.
Yes, sir.
Okay, right, Abhimanyu.
Right then, so we have next team comprising Momita Acharya, Alka Maurya, and Arshi Abdullah Siddiqui. Are you there, Dr. Momita, Dr. Alka?
Yes, sir, we are here. I think Ashi will be presenting. Ashi?
Hello.
Ashi, yeah.
Just a minute, give me a moment. Good afternoon, everyone. It's Arshi here. And this case is already presented by one of the team members earlier. So we'll be repeating it. Am I audible?
The company is same. We got the same company.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes, you are.
And my slides?
Yes, they are visible.
Okay, fine.
Yes, they are.
So for
Arshi,
the
go
case, we
ahead.
have just given a name, that is growth strategy to increase value and visibility. And our team members are Dr. Alka Maurya, Momita Acharya, myself Arshi Siddiqui, and our mentor is Dr. Shweta Dixit. So this case is about a company that is a little fable. They are into kids apparel. And let me give us a brief introduction about the company, what they are in, like when they started up. They started up in the year 2015, and founders, main CEO is Radhika Arora, and her sister is there with, one of the partner and her husband. He is there. So it's a kind of, family business. So they started up with the home furnishings and decor, but they were not so successful with that product. And later on, they realized that they have got more market with kids apparel. So they switched into that. And currently, they have just one store in Gurgaon. Though they started up, they expanded to around 5 stores in northern India, but somehow they were not successful to sustain. So one by one, they all got shut down. Currently, they just have one head office in Gurgaon. And main business right now, they are running through online. And few more points about the company, like what challenges they have faced initially, since they were more into exports. When they started, before starting their physical stores in India, they were into exports, and they used to export their product to big brands like Zara and all. So when they started up their, their venture in India, the tastes were more of that international brands. Like they used to have kids apparel with colors black, white, gray, blue, and all, which was not very successful in India. So slowly they realized that they have to come up with the Indian taste, which Indians, they prefer more colorful products. So later on they switched to, as per they have changed their product line as per the Indian taste. It took some time for them. And as I earlier said, they had around 5 physical stores, but they couldn't sustain because of the high rent. And one more issue what they were facing in the physical store was like customers, they used to ask for more varieties and different brands which they were not able to offer. And that was one of the challenges with the physical stores. And their core, I mean, their strength right now, what we have understood with, the entrepreneurs by having a talk with them, like since they have a very strong background in this clothing market, as two of the founders, they are NIFT graduate, and the person who is taking care of their marketing department, I mean, he's the husband of Mrs. Radhika Arora, and he's taking care of the marketing and finance thing, and he himself is from the marketing background, so they are not depending on any third party for the basic things. Apart from that, like they give a lot of value to the quality. That is the main strength, as they have been supplying clothes to in international markets. So somewhere it is there with them that the product should be of export quality, like they are using 100% cotton even for the inner linings and all, so which their competitors are not doing. So somewhere, though it is a plus point for them, and at the same time, it is costing them, which is, somewhere it is a challenge for them how to cut down the cost. Currently, yeah, they are having online presence. They are having tie-ups with Amazon, Lifestyle, and other platforms. And somehow, I mean, yeah, one of the important thing is that they have been very successful in creating a market for girls ethnic wear, only for girls. It's a question like why they were not able to make it for the boys section. That is something which they can think on. And the major weakness, if I'll talk about, what we have understood is like they have low visibility as of now. Secondly, since the products are of very good quality, it is costing them, and somewhere like their competitors, they are offering at a lower cost, so it is a challenge for them. Then, as I said, what are the issues? Very first one, like, or issues or dilemma, what we can see. Very first one is, shall they compromise on quality and reduce the prices? So to capture the price sensitive market, or stick to the quality product and wait for the word of mouth publicity. The second one is the same point which our other team members, they have already talked on, and sir said very correctly that online marketing is the only option right now for them. And we took this as a second dilemma, which of course, like we don't have to count on this second dilemma. And this is what we have understood till now. And the points to ponder, what I've understood over here is whether, like, as I said, organization need to think on the reason why they have made a market for the girls ethnic way, whereas for boys, they have not yet been successful. Because as a parent, if I'm going to a shop, I'll prefer to buy all the clothes normally from a one particular, this thing. And in online, of course, we have an option. If the organization is banking on quality, how reliable is the online platform for that, as they have yet to create their brand? Because in online shopping also, normally we give this thing, in filter we put the brand. So right now, since they don't have branding, so it will be a challenge for them. It will take some time for them to create their market even in online market. Because as I said, when we are doing online shopping also, that time also in filter we put the number of brands which we are looking for. So they have to work on their branding aspect, and they are they want to cater to the niche market. So for them, somewhere I feel they have to have a physical presence. And then the option, the challenge what they are having is that, is there any other method to cut down the cost without compromising the quality aspect? Can we think on this? Like how we can, if we are outsourcing the manufacturing and with the same quality, can we get the product? And also these are the points which we can think on. Since this is for the first time, I'm just presenting a case study. I don't know, how it was. This is what I can give it to Momia. You would like to add
Yes.
points to this?
No, I think we are done, sir. Any inputs, please? I mean, this is our initial thought on the case.
Okay, thanks, Arshi. Thanks, Momita. First of all, maybe Vineet, Shweta, we cannot publish two case studies almost on the same topic from two different teams. So because I could not really find any difference between the presentation of Ruchi and Arshi. They are talking about the same dilemmas, right? In this case also, she's talking about physical stores or she's talking about the same thing, right? So it may not be possible to publish two case studies from different authors on almost a similar topic. So I think the organizing team need to look into it.
Okay.
Definitely. So,
Sir, I have a question. Can we, take up another topic in case if you're not finding any entrepreneur, we'll just have it, create our own and just forward it to you, to have a look.
Sure, Arshi, I am okay with it, but I think maybe let's see if the organizing team can help you with something like that.
Yes, sir, we will. Arshi, don't worry, we will help you out with this.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So could you suggest another a dilemma, knowing now the company or the entrepreneur that we are talking about over here?
Shweta,
Is there a suggestion that we
Shweta,
could?
I really don't suggest because I think you don't have too many dilemmas here. When Ruchi was making the presentation, I was talking about expansion versus consolidation. Same thing is coming here.
Okay.
Right. So right now, the information which is being presented to us is not sufficient to have two case studies.
Yes, yes. All right, sir. I'll help them out with, maneuvering the case a little bit. Let's see how it works out.
Right. I will suggest
We'll
Shweta
take your
to go to a
suggestion.
different company because
Right.
even unless and until you have something strong in your hand, you really can't have two publications on quite similar same
True
company.
that. True. Yes, sir.
right. So we have next team, including Dr. Baisiti, Ramesh, Rahul Wagmare, and Sharmila Devi. Before that, I would request Arshi to please remove her presentation.
Yeah, sure.
Baiseti, Ramesh, or Rahul Wagmare, are you there?
I will request all the teams to please have a look at the chat box also. Whenever something is coming to my mind, I am posting something on the chat box. Right now, I have shared a few links for team A and team, I think was Sahem's team C.
Okay, so I guess this team is not here and not a single participant is here. So maybe I can request next team, including Dr. Deepa Pillai, Dr. Leena Dam, and Dr. Sadhana Das. Are you there, Dr. Deepa?
Yes, Dr. Deepa should be here.
Yes, sir. I'm there. Just a second. Let me just share the screen.
Deepa, what's the name of the?
Sir, UNIV Manufacturing.
Okay, no, what's the number?
K it is. Team K.
Okay.
So I think, is the presentation visible?
Yes.
Okay. Sir, first of all, good afternoon to all. Our case is on UNIV Manufacturing, which is a medium scale enterprise run by Mr. Tarun Arora, and he's a first generation entrepreneur. So the business is entirely a sole proprietorship kind of a concern. And when you look at the evolution of this entrepreneur, we can see that he has ventured into multiple kind of activities. He started as a trader sourcing printed bed sheets in Delhi, and then he ventured into block printing kind of activity, and then he started manufacturing hospital linen, school uniform, and gradually he ventured into ready-made garments. They had 3 units. Currently, 1 unit is operational, other 2 are shut down. And the entrepreneur has over 30 years of experience. And his venture started basically with a bank credit of rupees 35,000, which he had sourced to start the venture. Now, when we look at the business, Mr. Tarun is more focused only on the domestic market. He doesn't have any plans to expand into the international market. And the business model is focused only on business to business. He has a concentrated supplier list and a customer base, and most of the transactions are cash based and credit facilities are not provided. So 80%, nearly 20 to 25% of the collections are done when the business is based on the make to order kind of a model, and 20 to 25% of the revenue is collected at the time of the order and remaining on the delivery. Currently, most of the machineries, nearly around 250 machineries, are remaining unutilized and are lying idle. And since this is into a garment kind of an industry, most of the laborers who are there are unskilled. And therefore, there are many challenges related to retention of the labor, first sourcing of labor, then retention of the labor. And currently the business is mostly focusing on B2B kind of a model. They have not ventured into B2C, and most of the sales are they don't have a salesperson. They are dependent on the supplier and word of mouth publicity. So, basically the dilemma over here is how to with the limited resources. Now here the major resources, one is the labor and the second is the availability of money. They are not getting any financial support from government, since even though being a medium-sized entity, the entire funds are being contributed by the entrepreneur, or he's dependent on the bank credit. So that is one constraint. Second, as I said, labor is another constraint that this industry is facing. And with these limited constraints, the entrepreneur has a dilemma. He wants to scale up the business. Scale up means he wants to have a consistent sales basis, because now it is make to order kind of a thing. So the sales are not consistent in nature, and the growth, depending upon the availability, the orders are made and done. There is no consistent business strategy in place to grow the business. So the dilemma is basically how to scale the business to the next level with these constraints. So the learning objectives that we have come up is to understand what are the basic challenges that this small and medium kind of an industry basically faces, especially which is into B2B kind of a business. And the second objective is to develop strategies and business model for opportunity identification and making this enterprise a sustainable enterprise. As I said, this enterprise, the trader himself doesn't have any standard operating practices or strategies in place. As and when orders are seeked, it is made to order, and there are no future plans as such. So therefore, the second focus of the objective is to devise a strategy or a business model so that the business can be made a sustainable one. And the third is to evaluate transition from B2B to B2C. Here, why we are proposing the third objective is the reason being, since it is into garment manufacturing and it is purely business to business, there is huge amount of dead stock that is available. So there is no proper inventory management, and the goods are comparatively slow moving, and which is piling up the inventory to a great extent. So we would like to explore whether the business can be transitioned from a B2B to B2C kind of a sales model. Then the probable questions that we would like to address in the case is like, what are the challenges as an entrepreneur Mr. Arora is facing, and whether this kind of business is scalable in the Indian market, because he doesn't have any plans for expansion. That is one of the assignment questions. The second is, what could be the suggested solutions for addressing these existing challenges to make the business sustainable. And the third is, what could be the expansion strategies for transitioning from B2B towards B2C. So this is what we have, sir.
Okay, thanks, Deepa.
Sir, I'll stop sharing the screen.
Yes, Deepa, you can stop sharing it. Deepa, I will request that maybe, I have my own experience of working in a textile company. Going into a B2C is totally a different perspective altogether, which may not be required here. Because on the first hand, you're talking about sustainability and other things, scalability. Getting into B2C segment requires different competencies, required different financial resources, which this company may not be having at this point of time. I think keep your case to scalability issue and the challenges along with the scalability and sustainability, don't think about the B2C at this point of time.
Okay. Sir, my apologies. I just didn't introduce my colleagues. Our first author is Dr. Leena Dam. Second is Mrs. Sadhna, Dr. Sadhna Dash is there. And our mentor is Professor Jitendra Kumar. So my apology for that. Sir, I just skipped through the first.
I think it was mentioned in your slide, so no issues in that case.
Okay. So you mean to say we should not consider B2B towards B2C, you mean to say?
Yeah, I don't think that, you're going to different dimension altogether when you're talking about stepwise plan for B2C and other things. The company is already into B2B. So I don't think there's a need for having even a stepwise plan even for B2B in that case. Maybe your case study can bring the perspective of customer management, right? What can they do? You can bring about maybe key account management type of a thing.
Okay.
Right? If they have not doing something like that. So that is something which you people can think about. But don't bring the B2C perspective at this point of time.
Okay, sir. Fine.
Right. Just one suggestion. I'm going to talk about it at a later stage with all of you. One of the things which I have learned from Professor Ajay Kohli, he's a leading marketing guru all over the world, right, with more than 50,000 Google citations. I have written 2 case studies with him. Because of respect, when I wrote the first case study, I wrote his name as the first author. And I went to him with the review of the case study and whatever we can add more and those type of things. The first thing he said to me, Sandeep, you are taking the lead in this case study, so I am going to be the second author. So even when I went to meet him second time, I still kept him as the first author because of respect. He's much respected, and I really respect him for everything, whatever he has done for me also. Right? But he simply said to me, Sandeep, next time, in case you come back to me with my name as the first author, I am not going to work with you on this case study. So what he told me was very clear. Whosoever gives the maximum output on a particular paper or a case study should be the first author, second author, third author, fourth author, right? So my request to all of you is sequence doesn't make a difference. Contribution is, right? So as long as you're getting a good publication, think about it. I have seen many people, fighting with each other, especially here in India, just for the sake of the authorship, who is going to be the first or the second author, right? So I think you people can follow same principle. Whosoever does the major work should be the first author, second author, and third author. This is just a suggestion. I am following it, and it is quite helpful to me. Okay, thanks, Deepa. Thank you once again. Yes, Vineet, who's the next?
Yes, the next team is Geo Rose, Karishma Chaudhary. Karishma is already here, and she is uploading her presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sir, shall I start?
Yes, Krishna.
Yeah. So, sir, our organization is Monami Foundation, which means my friend in French. Monami means my friend in French. So this is presented by Team L, and we have 3 team members, and our mentor is Dr. Shweta, ma'am. And our team members are Mr. Gio, myself, and Ms. Najish Rahat. So first of all, I would like to introduce this company. So in India, as per, it is mandated by law, like under Ministry of Corporate Affairs, that CSR is mandated for certain class of companies who have revenues more than prescribed by MCA, that they have to spend 2% of their profits for upliftment of society. And they have defined 9 areas for that. Okay, so big corporates do face various challenges to channelize their corporate funds in an efficient manner, because mostly, as we talked to Mr. Amit from Monami Foundation, he told that mostly this fund is rolled over. It is the period to spend that money is 3 years, and when it is projects are not completed or money is not spent wisely, so we have to roll over that money to next year, next cycle. So Monami Foundation is an independent foundation which was set up in 2015, and it provides a platform to corporates to channelize and utilize their CSR funds to the projects in the most efficient and transparent manner. So at Monami, basically we can say the best thing about Monami is that every single transaction is done digitally, which maintain transparency about flow of funds and this expenditure, how they are spent and how the funds are routed. So Monami Foundation ensures inclusive and sustainable growth among communities, and they have their projects mainly focus on sustainable livelihood and upscaling basically the women or the society community which need to be uplifted, environmental sustainability and healthcare. So mostly though they have three domain area, but currently they are focusing more on sustainable livelihood. Okay, so and it is delivered with utmost transparency, speed and commitment to ensure equal participation from all stakeholders. And definitely they give much importance to partnership with corporates. Okay, and they involve corporates in all the projects as well. So next is their vision and mission statement. So it is help companies to build a socially responsible ecosystem by creating sustainable opportunities. And their mission is to bridge the gap between donor, service provider, and recipients through the design and delivery of customizable project offering. Okay, so these are some of the core competencies of Monami, like the speed of execution, like they adhere to the deadlines of the project. Their credibility, as I told, every transaction is done in a digital manner, and replicable project, like replicability of the projects in different areas of India as well. And tailored project, suppose if some company, say HCL Foundation, want to route their money, CSR fund, and say upliftment for migrant labor, so they can make a tailor-made project as well. So it is reduce expenditure on project management and accountability. And these they have also partnered with various organizations who help them in their projects, like upskilling and basically designing part, like designing in a contemporary way, which so the products are sold. And basically they also enable all the women who are involved in the projects, and they teach them how to use various marketing channels. And with the help of Shada University, even they have done various programs related to train the women how to use Zoom and how to market their products on online platforms. So though they are new, they have started their operations 2015. They have done various projects of big corporates like Bajaj Autos, HCL Foundation, etc. So currently, when we talk to Mr. Amit of Monami Foundation, he's facing issues related to two things, which I would like Gio, if you would like to present the dilemmas.
I think Geo is not here, so Karishma.
Okay. So, okay, I will present it. So they are facing two dilemmas basically. One is related to the inventory management, and second is related to their technology thing. So first I'll talk about inventory management issues. So currently they are maintaining all the products that are being manufactured on the Excel sheet. So it is quite difficult to maintain we can say maintain data related to color, size and types of different products. Like majorly they are working on crochets products, so it is very difficult to trace product availability. So this is one of the challenge that they are facing. And second is like sometimes in current COVID situation also, it is all digital way, like digital platforms are used to train women as well. So sometime trainer also don't have devices. And sometimes trainee themselves don't have devices. So these are some of the challenges they are facing. And when we asked about some devices can be given to the people to trainees and trainer as well. So they have some financial constraints related to that. So this is the second challenge we could think of. And so we have basically recognized these two challenges only, like how can they go for funding these devices, and how which software they should go for maintaining and their inventory management in a better way, efficient way. So that's all. So these are basically our action plan. This we need to revise, like how to solve these problems and take look at of various alternatives and take decisions to improve the performance. So that's all from our side. Thank you.
Okay, Krishma, can you go back to your slide number 7?
Yes, sir.
And next time I'll request all of you to please put your slide into the slideshow option, because I was really finding it difficult to
Okay,
read
okay.
the
Sorry,
slides
sir.
you presented.
Sorry, sir.
No issues. Maybe. Okay. So Krishna, on one hand, this inventory management dilemma looks to be very weak dilemma. The answer is go for a software. Now, that's going for which software itself can be a good case study.
Okay.
Right. So what we can do in that case is, I have a case study which is also a good selling case study on Harvard Business Publishing. This case study is talking about CRM software that a company is interested to spend around 50 million in a CRM software. And then what is doing here, we are having choices. There are 6 or 7 choices. And then we're looking at what is going to be the cost of implementation and other things, and what can be the best inventory management software, right? So first of all, in case you want to follow the inventory management dilemma, these are going to be 2 case studies, not 1 case study, because they are not linked with each other.
Okay, sir.
It's always better that you have 1 case study which is covering 1 particular topic.
Okay, sir.
Right, so you can think about having 2 dilemmas coming out of this case study. One only talking about inventory management, and then you get into only the details about inventory management. Maybe I think it was Arshi's group. Maybe in case, first of all, in case we get good amount of information, then one team can think about going for, or maybe this team can have 2 publications coming out of this one company. One talking about inventory management, and second talking about how you can provide training during the COVID period.
Sir, I think there's another group also who has same company, who's working on same company.
Thanks, Karishma. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your inputs.
We will have one more presentation before going for a break. We'll have a short break of 10 minutes after the next presentation.
Sunakshi, Suchita, and Sandeep Rawat, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Please.
We are here. Just a minute. Let me just share the screen.
Vineet, we also have another team of Dr. Chand Rashid, Dr. Rizwana, and Miss Aarti Nagar also. So we'll be doing that after the break, is it?
Yes.
One minute. Let me just share it. Yeah, I was not able to locate it. Yes. So I hope you all can see the slide. A very good afternoon, sir, and all my colleagues. We are here, team 39 Bakers. Our mentor, Dr. Jitendra Kumar, and me, Suchita, Sandeep, and Sunakshi are going to present this case. So we were in touch with the entrepreneur, and so the flow of the presentation is wherein we'll talk about the business, then the dilemma, and what is the objective we will work on, and then the assignment questions. So 39 Bakers are primarily, they are based in Jammu, although they have started from in UK first, but still they don't highlight about it as of now. And they position themselves as the top player in the cake category. and wherein if we saw their product portfolio, we saw their product is ranging from product which they bake and also having some beverages, also having kachoris in their product portfolio. So they have a wide variety of product in their portfolio, and he talked about that food is something which is like if you really want to touch the individual, so from the you have to touch the soul of the individual, and he always takes care of that. And so here the customer satisfaction and customer is the crux of uh, food business. So that's what his point, what he wanted to always take care on that. And he seems to be a very passionate foodie, because he was showing us the pictures of the buns which are baked, and his chef is sharing with him, and he is very passionate about it. And he is very much careful also that none of the additives are being added for the better shelf life. So he believes in that, giving back to the society as well, and whatever is left out, he gives to the needy people. And he was talking about his experience on the same, when a small school going kid was talking about his experience, how he feel when he get to share these cakes with his friends. So it was really nice to hear him on that point of on that note as well. So that was the overview of the business. Going ahead about the dilemma which we saw into the whole scenario is having a wide variety of product portfolio, like from kachori, and also starting or thinking on going with the samosas or with the namkeens as well. So which is probably looked like a very much a wide area to offer, and wherein they talk about that we bake, and then offering different sort of product, wherein their website they talked about the Scottish connection, but they are not very looked very focused on offering a product which that kind of link, wherein they offer product which are very low cost, as well as the product which are very high cost as well. So their product portfolio looked a little bit very much wide to us. And talking about the expansion to the other markets, which also he talked about that food is something where the individual touch. So he was talking about then when he travels, so sometime the pizza base is ready, but maybe the sauce which he has to put, it has to be ready, and he's the one, if he gives the touch, then that kind of taste comes out. So if he is thinking of expanding it into the other market or taking it, scaling it up, then probably these kind of thing could be a issue. So we have looked into that. And the other part which he talked about, that globally every food retail joint is facing, is about the human resource aspect, which we don't want to primarily talk about in this particular case, because one is about maybe if we develop a service case or maybe HR case, probably we can talk about this, but we primarily would like to focus as of now in the product portfolio expansion and expansion to the other market, and we would like to focus on that as of now. We're thinking on that. And so this is the basic dilemma which we have seen in the business. And moving ahead, talking about the learning outcomes, we would like to focus to understand the positioning and branding strategy, how the startup should work on, and to evaluate the importance of the customer's preference and the test to sustain in this competitive environment and market, and also to how to frame or design the product mix strategy. So this is what is the learning outcome we are thinking on. And the assignment questions, that what do you mean by the positioning and the branding strategy, and then why you think it is important for a startup. Then on the basis of the objective, the second assignment question, that what is the role of the consumer preference and test in a hyper competitive environment. And then the third question is based on the dilemma itself, It's like carrying 1,000 variety of the product means will give him a long-term growth. So this is what we have, looked into that. I think if they're just talking about that we bake and then talking about the Scottish connection and having a wide portfolio of business is the kind of dilemma which we have identified. So open for your suggestions, sir. Thank you from team 39 Bakers.
So you are on mute, sir.
Yes,
So you are on mute.
Yes. Thanks, Sujita. In fact, I was expecting Sandeep to present the case study which he was talking about yesterday, but no issues. You are going for 39 bakers. Sujita, I'm just posting. Sandeep, you people can take these links. Just a second.
For MKOC.
Okay, so I've just posted MKOC and a few other links I have posted here.
Yes, sir.
For your reference. Sujita, the case you started in a good manner, I will say. But when I come down to your dilemma and the questions, I think they are not. Dilemma is still okay, right? But I think I will like to go for maybe the first two dilemmas instead of talking about the third dilemma in that case.
Yes.
But in case you go to the next slide. Now here I think we have a problem. So what I will request, all three of you to have a look at these three cases which I have just shared with you, right? And fine tune your learning outcome and your questions also, right? Making a question like having 1,000 products, it doesn't look to be a good question at all, right? But I think no issues. Please have a look at these three cases and you can have a better idea about the questions.
Okay, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks for your input.
Thanks, Sujita.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Okay. Right, so Vineet, it's 2:33 right now. If we can have a short break and we meet at 2:45.
Yes, sir, that's absolutely perfect. The next team is Dr. Chand Nagar. So I think he is there. So please be ready with your presentation, Dr. Rizwana and Miss Aarti.
Right, we'll start at 2:45.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Sandeep. We'll see you at 2:45.
Sir, the time is up. So may we request another team to start the presentation? Okay, so next team is Professor Chand Rashid. Are you there?
Sir, I am there. Aarti Nagar.
Okay, Aarti. Yes, you can upload your presentation.
Okay, sir. So my presentation is visible?
Yes.
Okay. A very good afternoon to all of you. The case study on which we are working is Niva Luxury Collection. So my team members are Dr. Rashid sir, Dr. Rizwana, and I'm Aarti Nagar, and our mentor is Dr. Shweta Dikshit. So basically, she's an entrepreneur from Dubai. Her name is Miss Purva. She started.
Aarti, can you make it slideshow so that we can read it?
Okay.
Aarti, press F5. F5.
Yes, sir. Sir, I hope that.
Function F5 will also do. Function F5.
Sir, I have pressed it.
Or you can go to the slideshow and you can start.
Okay.
On top.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, sir. So basically, our entrepreneur is Miss Purva. She's from Dubai. She started her business in 2020. And basically, the motivation for starting her business was self-care and self-love. First, she started to design for herself and her friends. Then later on, when she starts getting orders from others, then she started selling it online. So basically, her selling platform is Instagram. So what she's selling satin and silk products. So basically, she has some USPs, which are mentioned in the last 3 points, that if you use satin and silk, then you have less wrinkles on your face. It saves you from rashes and irritation. So these were her USPs. The products in which she is dealing are satin bedsheet, duvet covers, pillows, cushions, etc. And she has economical products. And she has 2 tailor teams from which she's getting the work done. Actually, she has not hired them fully. She gives them orders and they work for her. And she's a very creative person. She's designing all the products herself. So all the creativity is from her only. So all her products have a personal touch and she customizes the products as per the needs of her customer. So as far as capital has concerned, she has invested her own money. So, and she's very much interested to invite more investors in the future for expansion. Target customers are females only, housewife, working women, college girls, etc. And one point which she mentioned that as her target customers are a lot of curly hair girls. So that is why she's focusing on them also. So her inspiration is Silk Lily. So she's basically inspired from this venture. So as far as distribution is concerned, she is doing the distribution through courier company in UAE. She has license for her online business. So payment mechanism is through net banking and cash on delivery. So basically, sir, as far as dilemmas are concerned, so finance is the first dilemma, since she has brought only her finance into this venture. Then the second dilemma is human resource and operation. She is one woman's army. She is doing everything herself, whether it is creativity, whether it is finance, HR. She doesn't have any other person to help her. Okay, so basically, so that is a second dilemma. Then she's all loaded with orders and she has to manage with those 2 tailors. She's bringing all the stock herself only. She's driving to that particular place where the stock is available. So she definitely wants to improve her operations also after this pandemic is over, since her venture is a COVID baby. So that is why she is very keen, or she has many ideas once the pandemic is over. So as far as expansion is concerned, she is very much interested to expand in India when this pandemic gets over. And she has already getting inquiries for franchising. So she was planning to come up with a venture in Mumbai also. So, and one more dilemma is that till now she doesn't have tie-ups with e-commerce website like Amazon and other well-known websites. She doesn't have any such tie-up till now. So as far as marketing is concerned, so basically he is doing the marketing through Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and through the help of bloggers. She's sending them freebies and they are promoting her product on Instagram, Facebook, and so on. So many high influential bloggers in UAE, India, Pakistan are using her products and promoting her product on Facebook and Instagram. So basically what we have planned till now to do in this case study is we are
we'll discuss this up maybe at a later stage.
Yes, sir.
Right. Can you go back, Aarti?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Aarti, so your case study is quite, I think the other team which is also having, Vijeta was talking about the same company.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Aarti, it's my request to both team D and team F. You have a good company in hand, but right now both of you are talking about almost, that is my concern. In case we are working on the same company, different dilemmas coming into the picture. Also talking about expand her business in India. The same dilemma even Vijeta was talking about. It's very clear that you people cannot publish two case studies on the same topic with two companies, with different authors, right? It will be very difficult.
Okay, sir.
Right? So you people are having a very good company in hand. I will request both the teams to simply narrow down the dilemmas which you are working on. Maybe one team can work on the dilemma of whether to enter into India and how to enter into India in case they want to go for it. And the other team can use that a company can use to grow its business in UAE itself.
Okay, sir.
People can go ahead accordingly.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Right. Thanks, Aarti.
Thank you, sir.
Right. So now I would request the next team, Team N, comprising Dr. Glenn, Dr. Ricardo, and Dr. Amani. I guess Dr. Glenn will be presenting.
Yes, this is Glenn here, and thank you all for inviting us today. So I'm Glenn Mushert, also speaking on behalf of my team, who is Dr. Ricardo, Dr. Amani, and our team mentor is, we're grateful for the assistance, is Dr. Vineet. And we are Team N. However, you may think of us as Team Abu Dhabi, which is where we are based. So like our colleague, Dr. Karishma and her team, we are also paired with the Mon Ami Foundation. So Dr. Karishma gave a very good overview of what the company does, so it's not really necessary to repeat it. But the basic model in one sentence is the Mon Ami Foundation partners with corporate entities to help them effectively discharge their CSR funds as required under Indian law. And in particular, they're active in crafting, getting people who are low-skilled workers to learn crafting skills such as crochet of the distress balls or the very beautiful baskets and things that we've seen. Okay. So the problem statement, we actually came up with 3 challenges, and probably we'll have to narrow it down. Our interview was with Mr. Amit, and Mr. Ahmed is the IT person. So he talks a lot about the digital nature of their business and how successful it has been. It's cash free even before the demonetization happened in India in 2016. So there are some successes with the business, but there are also certainly challenges. One challenge is one that I think many organizations would be happy to experience, which is that approximately 40% of the funds received by Mon Ami Foundation remains unspent. And so this is a rollover in a sense that goes into the next iteration. And so therefore it's an increasing problem year on year if they are receiving the same amount of funds, and then they're having a bigger amount that is not being utilized. So the case study might identify the reasons, causes, challenges, and opportunities for improving in this area, and the full use of the funds would, we presume, lead to greater impact in the target population, skill development, economic empowerment, and sustainable development. Challenge number 2 is related to digital divide or digital inequalities. Since the entire business model seems to take place in the digital sphere, there are some challenges. So the digital divide studies looks at 2 aspects. So this challenge 2A, there may be economic or technical barriers to participation. And so basically, if the people cannot afford it, or if they don't have access, whether they don't have the device or they don't have the mobile plan, then, or if it's not provided in their villages, this first level digital divide is becoming less relevant as mobile phones become cheaper, mobile plans become cheaper, and as countries have massive campaigns to broaden their coverage of the internet and other mobile connectivity. However, in the case that this Mon Ami may serve some people who are among the poorest people in the most isolated places, this is still should be a concern. Okay. And the second one is barriers to participation due to low-skilled digital users. So Mr. Ahmed spoke about this idea that people will engage in the training through their digital devices. However, the studies in digital divide have also identified that there are people who are low-skilled, and they, even if they have access, they may not have the digital skills to be able to use the technologies effectively. So all of the usual sociological things apply, which is that the people who are most vulnerable, it would be the poor, women, ethnic minorities, people with disabilities, elderly populations, and so on. These are generally the people who are most affected by these digital divides, and we find that it's particularly in terms of low skill, and the people have barriers to attain the digital. So decreasing the digital divide, that would be providing better economic or technical access, as well as increasing the skills of the people to participate effectively, should increase the overall impact of Mon Ami Foundation. And the third is related to a launch of participants, in a sense that, so Mon Ami Foundation runs these projects that are not intended to be permanent. They're intended to be approximately 3 years, 2 or 3 year maximum, that a person, the weavers or the crocheters, would be involved in this project, and that they should launch. And so Mr. Ahmed spoke of what we call, I guess, a failure to launch, meaning that many of the producers do not continue independently, and therefore they cease their production when they're no longer participants in the Mon Ami Foundation programs. And so a study could identify failure to launch cases and see what the characteristics of those cases are, and also could identify the those who successfully become independent, either individually or collectively, in order to see if there's some patterns and ways that that it can be, the launch can be increased. And so in a sense, all of these three are related to the overall business goal, which is that Mon Ami Foundation is, of course, has to be financially sound, but it's a not-for-profit organization. And so therefore their performance indicators would be they're maximizing the use of the resources they have, maximizing the effectiveness of the program participation, and finally maximizing the long-term viability of people's, you know, to have this continue in a economically sustainable way. And so we are, you know, we have 3 scholars, and so we're kind of thinking about what literatures we might use. Dr. Ricardo is a finance professor in management and financial management and financial analysis. I am a digital sociologist, and Dr. Amani is in development economics. And so these 3 sets of challenges seem to match up with the team that we have. One is financial, one is about digital skills and access, and the third one is about the whether or not there's a overall like supportive economic ecosystem for the people to carry on in a long-term way. So those are the things, and I wanted to thank Dr. Vineet for his guidance in this, and over to you, Sandeep. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Glenn. You're surely the last group, but sure, I must say that this was also one of the best caselet developed by the group so far, right? So that's a good thing.
Thank you.
Okay, I think Glenn, you have covered some of the important perspective of this case study in a very good manner, but I can request you, and I think the other team which was talking about Mon Ami was
Karishma, Gio, and Nazish is the, yeah.
Okay, so I think maybe Glenn, this is one request to both the teams, Team L and Team Glenn, in that case, that make it sure that you people, I think Glenn, your document can be a very good starting document to take this case study to the next level, where you people can think about what are the dilemmas you're going to keep in your case study, and then Karishma and team can decide the dilemma they want to keep in their case study. Team L.
So we should coordinate. We will coordinate.
Yes, I think, yes, Glenn. I think maybe Team L can also read your document, and then you people can decide according to your comfort zone that we want to concentrate on this particular thing, and Team L can concentrate on the other topics.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yes, Vineet, you want to say something?
Sir, each team is actually, they have, in some cases, they have one team, or in some cases, there are like 2 teams who are targeting the same client organization. So in a way, like they have certain ideas which they are actually targeting. And we have also decided to, maybe in some cases, we are planning to have maybe more than one case. So main case plus one caselet which can be submitted. So
okay, Vineet, I think I leave those things on you, how you want to take it forward. But I must say that looking at the presentation which Karishma presented, right? Karishma was talking about the digital adoption, that something which I remember right now also, that some of the people, the participants, they are not using the different devices. Training is an issue. Even Glenn presented that as a main dilemma, where he's having 2A and 2B as a things, right? So Vineet, you cannot have 2 publications on the same topic. So I think, and that to the same company also.
Definitely.
Right, because that would be an issue in itself. So
no, agreed, sir, agreed. So in Niva case, we decided upon one team will talk about expansion, and one team is going to talk upon branding and positioning strategy. So team with Vijeta and Rosita, they are going to talk about expansion. Team with Chand, Aarti and Rizwana, they are going to talk upon branding and positioning.
Okay, right, Jitendra. I think you have to follow something like this.
Yes. We have already done that. We have sorted that out.
Okay, Jitendra, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot.
Excuse me, sir. This is Rizwana. Am I audible?
Yes,
yes, Rizwana.
Hello, Sandeep, sir. This is Rizwana. Actually, sir, mine is Team F, and as we were discussing, our company is Niva, right? So my question is that if both the teams have the same company, how can we distinguish between the dilemmas because the company is same?
Okay, Rizwana, I think I have written 3 case studies on a company, Parkin Laboratories. I have written again 2 or 3 case studies on a company by the name Ajanta Packaging, which is already there with you people. I have already shared 1 copy with you people.
Yes, sir.
Right. So now what I have done in these cases is, first of all, yes, my cases have different timelines. One case about Ajanta Packaging was written in 2014 and the other case study written in 2017. Right. So different timelines altogether. But even then, there are times when I've written 2 case studies on same company, but I'm talking about 2 different topics in that case. I'm having a case study on Hitachi. So published almost at the same time. So they are having separate headings, separate dilemmas, and covering those type of things.
Okay.
Right. So and that's very important, Joanna. Otherwise, it will not be possible. It will just like this, that there are 2 teams who are writing almost the same topic. Then you will be fighting with each other for the time. Whosoever submit first can get it published. The other team will lose that opportunity.
Indeed, sir. Indeed.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, Sandeep, you want to say something?
No, sir, nothing.
Okay, right. Okay, thanks a lot for your caselet presentations. We ended up with a very good caselet development by Glenn, Rick, and I'm sorry, I'm missing the third person. It was like Amani, right?
Correct, sir.
Okay, so few things before we get into the other things of the case study. One thing I think in many cases people are writing like Miss Purva or Mr. Rajat, right? There's not going to be anything like Mr. or Miss in that case. You have to clearly go with the name, right? When you start the case study, you can write the name as Vineet Gupta, but going forward, you might have to say like Gupta was thinking like this or Gupta was talking like that. Okay, but it depends. In some of my own cases, I informed Ivy that it's a family-owned company. The father is also an Agarwal. The son is also an Agarwal. The case study with you, RX Pharmacy. So I requested that please allow me to use different names because they have a similar name, so students will get confused. Right? Something like this can be used by you also. Right? Now, what about structure of the case study? The first thing which you have to keep in mind, except the quotations, everything is going to be in the past tense. Right? Because you may think that today it is like this, but someone may use your case study after 5 years. So that's why it is important that you write the case study in the past tense. Most important, I think there are few groups who have identified the problem or the issue in a very good manner. There are few groups who have yet to, I think, find out a right issue or a right problem to really bring the case study. I must say that, right now, I think, Vineet, do we have a collaboration with Emerald for this these publications?
Yes, sir. We do have this thing. There was Professor Ram Kakani, who is from Emerald Emerging Market Case Study. So most of the participants are actually trying to get it published in EMCS.
Okay.
So we do have tie up with EMCS, and also we are planning to come out with a book which is in tie up with Taylor and Francis. So these 2 publications we are having, which are proposed ones.
Oh, Mohit, thanks. Okay, so now I think we have to keep 2 things in mind. So when you're going for a general publication, the format can be a little bit different. the format for the other like IB, Sun, Stanford, WDI, that can be different. I think I'm having a little problem with the internet. Let me switch off my video. Okay, so I think today about the dilemma you're talking about, and then how you can use it to teach or to explore a concept or theory in your. There are few groups they were already talking about. I think it was Aarti. She was talking about some of the branding theories when she was. I just stopped her before that. Okay, you can surely go for that. But when you go for a case study on branding, one important perspective is, personally, I don't feel that NEVA is really a good company to write a case study on branding if the people are really not aware of the brand in itself. Then there has to be many things you have to cover in that case. But on the other hand, if it's a brand which is at least relatively known, maybe NEVA is well known in Dubai, then you can surely go ahead with. Now, we have a caselet now. So what I can do further in that case? The first paragraph is going to be very important to really structure our case study. I must say that many a times, even the reviewers, they look at your first paragraph or the introductory part of your case study. In case they feel that it is connecting, it is talking about what is going to be there in the case, that can be very impactful in convincing the reviewer to go for a green signal. What is going to be the opening paragraph for main protagonist, right? Who is a key decision maker? It can happen many a time that there are 2 or 3 people, right? I think in one of the case studies, Radhika Arora and Smita Arora, right? So I can talk about it. Maybe the case study is talking about what Radhika is thinking, but when I'm talking about decision making, I can bring Smita also into the picture. What is the nature of the issue problem, right? When did the case take place? It's very important that you start writing like this. It was March or April 2021. Right, Smita was thinking about her company's strategy for the next 2 years or something like this, right? So when did the case take place? It's very important that it has to be there in the first introductory paragraph of the case study. Where did the case take place? What organization? Smita, then I will write comma, managing director of this company, right? Something like this has to be mentioned in that case. And why did the issue or the problem arise? I think I appreciate the way Glenn presented. I think it will be easy for Glenn's group to write the opening paragraph, because I think he has already mentioned few things which can be there. Right? So you're talking about main protagonist, decision maker, nature of the problem, and then why the problem actually happened in that case. These case studies are already there with you. I will request all of you, whenever there's a time with you, just have a quick look at the way the case studies are being presented. And look at this particular paragraph. Who is the main protagonist? Jayaprakash Chaubey. Who is he? He's the managing director of Sarva Pharmaceuticals, right? Was facing a dilemma. When did the case take place? January 2020. Okay, so what's happening here? He received a proposal from Gursim Pharmaceuticals, right? And then I'm in bracket, I'm writing Gursim because going forward in the case, I'm not going to write Gursim Pharmaceutical Limited every time. I'm going to use Gursim in that case, right? Now, Gursim is asking about, can we market some of your products in Cambodia in that case, right? And then the case study is coming back to that Sarva started its international expansion or international operations in 2010 and had undergone substantial growth since that, right? Why I was saying all of you in that case, that it's important that we need to have some idea about the financials. Now we are talking about the financials of the company. The company ended 2019 with sales of 855 million, an increase of over 21% of the previous year. See Exhibit 1, right? Chaubey was optimistic about his company's target of achieving net revenue of 1,200 million with around 40% growth in 2020. although the company had done well in terms of sales, however, Chobe was concerned about the company's profitability in 2019, which increased only marginally at 4%. Why it has happened? So why the problem? The company's profitability was being negatively affected by Sava's operation in Cambodia, right? The Cambodia unit contributed around 40% of the total revenue of the company. Look at the first paragraph. I think I have covered all those things. Who is the decision maker? Which company? Right? What's happening? I have talked about the company's turnover, company's profitability. Turnover is going up, but profitability is just increasing by 4%. Right? So just look at one thing here. 21% is the increase in sales, but just 4% is the increase in profitability. Right? So then I am also talking about that the company is thinking of getting into Myanmar, and Cambodia's decision is important for the company. And third part is talking about the company's country head, John Tayang. Right? In this case, I have disguised the name. That's why it's the footnote is there. Right? So Tayang was not in a position to guide the sales and marketing team in a good manner. So we are talking about that. And what the people are doing, they are selling easy to sell, low profit products. So now a friend has suggested to reduce the number of products from 53 to 25, right? So all these issues are there in the case, and these are all covered in the introductory part of the case study itself. Even if you look at the second case study, which is already there with you, which is about Ajanta packaging. Now look at the picture here. When this has happened, October 18, 2017, right? It was a festival time in India. Right, they shifted the office to a new place. Then Pushpak Agarwal is the managing director of Ajanta, right? And then we're talking about Dipankar is coming to the company, who's the director of the company. And then we're talking about SF Foods, right? The company is offering a big order, 50 million order with profit margin less than 7%. They want us to supply the goods by December 1, but have set the payment period for 60 days. Our key account management needs to be reworked. This paragraph is very important for this whole case study. That's the main perspective of the case study itself. And then we are coming to other orders. That in addition to the order of 50 million, Ajanta is also having an order worth 90 million, which they have to supply to the customers. And these orders have a profitability of more than 10%, and they also should be supplied by 15 December, right? So supplying to SF at this point of time with a 60-day payment period can have a impact on the other orders of the company as well as the profitability of the company. So this case study is talking about all these things. So again, you can see that in the first 3 paragraphs, you get a good idea about the case study in that case. Second part of the case study, which is going to be the body of the case study. Now you have to look into the whole story. Now in this case, I will request all of you to please follow the chronological order. Maybe Vineet, Mohit, I will request you to share some of the case study which are published with Emerald.
Yes, I will do that, sir.
Yeah, so that they have an idea about how the case studies for Emerald are also being written.
We will do that, sir. Definitely we'll do that.
Right. So what we do typically, we get into organization background, we get into the customers, first of all, the company's background, the industry, the customers, right? And the challenges faced by the company. Please keep one thing in mind. We need to tell more than one side of the story so that the students can look into the competing alternatives. It can never be like this, that you are taking it up a biased side of a thing. You have to be neutral in this case. Concluding paragraph. Right? So concluding paragraph, short synthesis of the case to reiterate the main issues, what are the main problems, right? You can surely even ask new questions at this point of time. But those new questions should have something which is already being covered in the earlier cases. Right? It should have data that we've already presented a challenge in the case study, which you can now connect here. Yes, Parul.
Sir, I wanted to ask a question. Yes, sir. Sir, I wanted to ask a question. If you can just please move back to the previous slide, from that slide. The body of the case. The body of the case. Now, Over here we are talking about that we need to talk about the fact that details of the specific issue have also to be disclosed, right? The issue we are pointing out, we have to give details to the specific issue which we are facing. So how do we maintain that thin line difference between providing details and taking one side? I mean, there's often a very thin line difference. How do we adhere to it? Because क्या होता है कि लिखते लिखते we tend to take one side, and the purpose of the case study is not met in that scenario because it becomes a closed-ended kind of a subjective opinion of the writer. So any suggestion that how do we maintain that thin line difference, that we are just quoting the fact and not taking a side?
Okay, thanks Parul for bringing this point. Very important point when we're writing the case studies, especially when we're talking about the issues. Now, Parul, my request to all of you in this case is, I think when you write your first case study or when you've written a few case studies also, you know, be very specific. Yes. So let's take like this. Let's pick up one case study, like let's have a look at Ajanta packaging case study. So what we are starting, in this case, we are starting that, you know, maybe I am taking side of Ajanta because I am presenting the story of Ajanta in that case. I'm saying that Ajanta has received an order from SF. The order is worth 50 million, but the company is asking for early delivery and the company is also asking for a payment period of 60 days. Now, is it biased? Yes, this particular statement is surely biased, Parul, because I'm writing it from Ajanta's perspective. I'm not writing from SF's perspective. SF may be thinking that we are giving an order worth 50 million, which is a very big order. So it's okay to give less margins. Profitability of 7% is okay. You know, even Walmart. I have negotiated with Walmart when I was working with Trident. Walmart typically give their vendors around 5% margins. But Walmart does give very big orders. So it's okay in many cases that, okay, I'm getting something in volume, so I'm making good amount of money. Just like this, I'm getting a 10% margins on an order of 20 million and I'm getting 7% margin on an order of 50 million, which is better margins. Surely the order of 50 million with 7% is surely giving me better returns in that case. So in this case, Parul, there is nothing wrong. When you are writing something like this from the company's perspective, it's okay. It's not biased. The only thing which you have to keep in mind when you're presenting challenges, right? I think you need to give the data points for both the things. What's happening in the industry, what are the challenges, that has to be neutral. That is applicable to all the companies competing in that industry. You know, in this case, I have given some of the challenges being faced by the different players. They are quite similar. That there's an inflation, there's an impact on the prices and those type of things. That is quite neutral. And I think, Parul, once you write something, you will yourself get an idea.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Thank you so much.
I have seen many times there are many authors who simply copy the first paragraph and the last paragraph is quite similar in that case. Just a second, someone has raised hand. Let me see it. Okay, yes, Glenn.
About the previous comment from Parul, I was thinking that there must be some kind of controversy of the, you know, the outcome or the decision is not certain. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a very interesting case study for the point of view of the students to discuss. So, you know, if it's, you know, it's kind of the thing where there's, okay, you can go through option 1 or option 2, and here's the reasons why option 1 seems good. Here's the reasons why option 2 seems good. And then, you know, kind of discuss, because if it was clear that it was only one, then we wouldn't even be doing the case anyway, I think. It's just like the person has to be not sure, or the company has to be not sure.
Very good point, Glenn. You made a very good statement, and it's very important when we're writing the case studies. I have not told you people about this thing, but my first case study with HBR, Harvard Business Review, got published in June 2016. But my second case study with Harvard Business Review got published in 2019. In between these two publications, rejected 22 case studies that I sent to them. And every time they were saying only one thing: Sandeep, there is nothing unique in it. This is obvious. So what Glenn, you are saying is absolutely right. In case the decision is very obvious for the students that a company should do like this, then it will not be a good case study. Right. So, so for all of us, that's what I was trying to, the purpose of having your caselet presentation was only this: people to, once you people have decided your dilemma and you have a strong dilemma with you, 90% of your job is done for writing the case study. Because now you have to just bring the different participants, the other ingredients to write the case study. Because having a strong dilemma is very important for a very good publication, right? So I fully agree with you, Glenn, that in the case study itself, first of all, the dilemma should be such that you're not talking about one decision which is very obvious, first of all. Second thing, you should not be giving information in such a manner that it makes one particular option as the best option. So you have to bring that perspective in the case study. Right? Now look at, I think, Ajanta packaging case study. Had this order been an order of 20 million with 7% profitability, and then you have 90 million order with 10% profitability, it would have been very obvious, say no to SF and go ahead with your order of 90 million. But order values in 90 million, you have 7 or 8 customers, but here for 50 million, you are having only 1 customers, and then many other things come into the picture. So that makes your decision a little bit difficult to do. Yes, Sandeep.
Yeah, hi. So I wanted to ask whether we can add a little bit of fiction to our cases, because so I'm just taking an example from your case only, which we discussed yesterday about the salesperson. So let's say everything what you have shared is true, but let's say just as a kind of situational thing. So that salesperson, you said that he recently had a baby. So let's say if we are adding that from our front, it actually changes and makes the whole case and decision making a little more difficult and challenging. So do we have a little bit of kind of some level of leniency in terms of adding a little bit of fiction in case, and if yes, then what that extent should be?
Okay, Sandeep, yes, it all depends upon your permission from the company itself.
Okay.
Right. So in my case, yesterday I was saying one thing, that the company whosoever you are writing your case study on, I think they can leave few things on your intellectual abilities, because we being teachers know many things that, okay, this is something which I can add to the case study and this can make it more impactful. It has happened with me in the past that there are 2 authors, they submitted a case study to IB, the case study got rejected. And then they came to me that, Sandeep, we feel this is a good topic, but somehow the case study got rejected. Can you help us? The first thing I asked them was how close you are to the company's decision maker. In case I add a different perspective to it, can we get the consent? They said yes. So I think in that case, we have written a case study on Jiroda. It's published with Vipul from NITI, Mumbai only, right? So what we have done in that case is we brought another perspective, because I'm teaching marketing, so I brought the CRM perspective into it, that how we can have more customers, the acquisition plan, and other things. And finally, that case study got accepted with the IB only. So So surely, I think, Sandeep, you can do something like this, but it all depends upon whether you have permission from the company or not.
So as long as we get the permission from the company, there is no question of ethical integrity or something like that, even in case if we add some flavor to it. So can I take that as a point?
Sandeep, so that's what I'm saying. Adding a little bit fiction from your knowledge may be okay, but it all depends upon the place where you are publishing. For example, in case of Harvard Business Review, everything which is mentioned in that case is true actually.
Okay.
The only thing which we have done here is we have changed the name of the company, we have changed the name of the different players in that case, because Harvard doesn't publish case studies on particular company. That there can be issues, right? So we have to change the name of the different players. But whatever is being mentioned there, it's an actual thing which has happened with the company, that they had a very good salesperson who recently became a father, got many awards from the company. The MD used to, give his examples almost at all the sales meetings, and now you have a problem. Your star salesperson has submitted a false report. What you are going to do in that case? So everything is true in this case. The only thing is, yes.
Yeah, I was just taking an example, like sorry, in case.
Yeah, so I will say that's not a fiction case study. That's more of a disguised case study.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, Abhimanyu.
Sir, I had a similar doubt only. Can we add a fictitious character to the case study or not? You have answered it.
Okay, right, Abhimanyu. Durai?
Yes, sir. Sir, I have a couple of questions. One is, should the company give permission for us to give the case, or can we write anything that we like about taking a point in an issue from a company that we like and do it? Say, for example, I like the company called Hudson Agro Foods, and I want to write a case about it. Should I get permission from them, or can I write it on my own?
Durai, your voice was not clear. Can you repeat it again? I'm sorry.
No, this is about getting permission from the company about which the case I'm going to write.
Okay.
Should we get the consent from the organization before writing?
Durai, first of all, yes. When you're writing a case study on a company, it's always better that you talk to the company that you want to write a case study, because I think that's the main source from where you can get about the dilemma they are facing.
Okay. Okay. So then, can the founder be disguised?
So Durai, that's what I'm saying. So let's take an example that you know about a scenario that something has happened with the company, but it's difficult for you to get permission from the company. Then in that case, you might have to go for a disguised case study.
Okay, but the company will anyway know that it is about them. If I don't get the permission and disguise and say it in different name, the company will anyway know that it is their own property. Won't that be an issue?
So yesterday, in case you remember, I was saying that thing that when you're disguising a company, you have to disguise many things. For example, you have to disguise the company's headquarters. You have to disguise the name of the people who are working in the company. You have to disguise the year when the company was started. You have to disguise the number of people working in the company. You have to disguise everything.
Then I cannot give any facts that is dependent on that company. I cannot give figures because that will anyway reveal it.
Yeah, so you have to bring new disguise material, even the sales figure, the revenues, everything has to be disguised in that case.
Okay. And another question is, suppose if I find a dilemma and I don't know the answer for it, even I'm skeptical about it, can I take it as a case?
Yes, Durai, that becomes a very good case. Look at this last Harvard Business Review publication of mine.
Okay.
Even today, I'm confused whether we should fire the person or we should retain the person.
Okay. Okay.
I really don't know the answer. Sometimes I do say that that he has compromised with the ethical integrity. I worked with Novartis. The clear rule in Novartis was whosoever it may be, someone who has compromised with the ethics of the company has to leave the company.
Okay. Okay.
But then I also know many of my friends who are having their own companies. They say that ethics are important on paper, but I cannot leave a star salesperson who is giving me a business of 500 or 5 million in a month, or maybe 60 million in a year.
Okay. That depends on the organization. That's not in our hands. Basically. So finally, I think the whole case has to be complete, right? Every information should be there in the case. So even without the case writer, people should be able to understand the complete case, right? It should be in that way.
Yes, Durai, a good amount of, I will not say the complete information, I will say good amount of information should be there which can help the students to do the analysis.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Yes, Preeti.
Sir, I would like to ask that there are certain theoretical or conceptual models which are not very famous. And maybe they are published like in later years, maybe early, like they are not famous as hands-off metrics and like that. So what are the chances of getting published if we write our cases with respect to these kind of models? But it fits in our situation, then.
Preeti, I have written many case studies with something new. For example, when I was here in India, in my classes, I never discussed about something called as business model canvas. But in the last 3 years, I learned that model when I attended one of my colleagues' class at IEEM, and it was quite good model. When you're launching a new product or when you're entering into a new segment, business model canvas can be a very good thing to look at the different things. So I have included that thing in some of the case studies which I got published, and it was being appreciated. Right. Similarly, for digital marketing, there's source talk. So I think there are many new things which are there, and you have to give the references. So it's not like this. I must say that the reviewers, they also appreciate someone coming up with something new, because that enriches everyone.
Right.
You can still use Porter 5 forces, but the way you do it. So recently I was reviewing a case study. There was a Porter 5 force analysis, but I appreciate those authors. They were having the, they have made spider charts to really look into how different forces they are making an impact. So they are taking the same model to a much higher level in their analysis. They were giving some quantification. Right. This was the first time I saw a case study where someone is talking about that, supplier power on a scale of 5, they're rating it at 3.6 or something like this. So I appreciate the way these people have done that thing. So something like this can be done by you also.
Sir, I have one more question.
Yes.
So can I ask?
Yes.
Sir, the question is like, sometimes in a case study, like one aspect we think of writing a case from a maybe brand perspective. And when we go deep into the case, we think that the entrepreneur's personality is emerging out to be dominant. And in that case, we are taking decisions from the point of view of entrepreneur's personality. Then in which journals we should focus to send our paper? And secondly, how can this issue be sorted? Like, should we focus on the entrepreneur's personality or the branding part then?
Preeti, so now you're talking about your own case study. Preeti, it's difficult to say, all the good journals, they look for good case studies. Right. So it is not like this that a journal will say that there is only a journal which is talking about entrepreneurial traits, because in one journal, look at the Emerald journals, you will have case studies covering different topics.
Right, sir.
Right? So the most important thing is how you have written your case study.
Right, sir.
Right. So I think once that thing is there, don't worry about it. Good journals, they're looking forward to good publications.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, Jitender.
Yes, sir. Sir, just now you said, yeah, sometimes it's difficult to answer a question. Then how to, leave that question or how to answer that question in our assignment or analysis part?
Okay, so Jitender, let's take example of this particular question. For example, should you fire your star salesperson?
Yes. Yeah.
And if you look at the way I will have it teaching note, I will talk about what are going to be the implications in case I fire the salesperson. What are going to be the implications in case I don't fire that salesperson?
Okay.
Right. So I will talk about the pros and cons of doing. So I have 2 strategies here, or maybe I have 3 strategies here. First strategy is fire the salesperson. Second strategy is no action, right? Simply ignore it. Third strategy is do something to send a signal to the different team members so that this thing doesn't happen in future. So for all the 3 strategies, the 3 options I have, I will simply get into what are the possible implications, pros and cons, and that's all. Case study is not to give you what is right or wrong.
We just need to touch upon the various dimensions, and we can leave it upon the students what exactly they want to do.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And so second point I was about to make, you only answered, because sometimes there are some certain things in a qualitative manner, like marketing mix, Potter FIFO's model. But you answer that it's very good to quantify those things. For example, in my cases, I've quantified the marketing mixes. I've also quantified the Potter's FIFO's model on out of 5, which what is the bargaining power of supplier and all. It was a very good point that you made out, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Right, Jitendra. Navneet?
Yeah, thanks, Sandeep. Yeah, actually, my question was extension to Dore's question, which you answered just now. It was same. If we ourselves are not clear about the final dilemma, we as authors, then in teaching notes, how do we cover it? But you have given me the answer saying that write the pros and cons. So I have understood the answer.
Okay, thanks, Navneet.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Siddharth? Siddharth, you have to unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. Sorry. So in one of your slides, you have mentioned the body structure, like it should contain the company background, the competitors, the challenges. So will the structure remain same for all cases, or will it vary?
No, Siddharth, it's not going to be the same for all the cases. In case you remember, maybe I'm going to show you the same slides again, because now you people have those case study with you.
Yeah.
So it's going to be different styles for different case studies, depending upon, I think it's all about what you're trying to cover in your teaching note questions.
Okay.
Thanks, Siddharth.
Okay, thank you.
From the admin, there's a question how to make a strong case study. Okay, so you know how to make a strong case study. One principle which I follow whenever I am having a beer with my friends, I prefer to have a beer instead of tea or coffee, but it all depends on the time. So whenever I have a mug of beer with my friends, I typically keep on asking them, tell me something when it has happened with you that you had sleepless nights because of some managerial issue. Fortunately for me, I think most of my cases which are having good sales in the market, they came from those contexts. So that is, I think, your strong dilemma is going to be the main foundation of the case study. What is happening otherwise? I think there are many people who simply want to publish something for the sake of having numbers and those type of things. So it has happened with me also. Many times we are opportunistic, that it's a contemporary topic, something like this is happening. Why not to write something on it? Or Google acquisition of Fitbit, right? Contemporary, strong brand. Let us write something on it. So I will say that strong case studies come from primary sources predominantly, right? When you have the real feel of a real issue which a company is facing. So that will be my suggestion, that next time when you're talking to your friends or your industry contacts, keep on asking them about some of the real issues they are facing, the issues which are giving lots of headache to them. And then I think you have to think about like this, in case this is going to be an issue, what are things I can ask my students in that class? I think, so once have an issue, second thing, what are the possible 4 questions which your students in the class? Once you're ready with these 5 things, 4 questions, and that one strong dilemma, I think you can have a strong case study in your hands. I hope it's okay with everyone. Okay, so in case you look at the last part of the case study, which we're talking about the dilemmas. So now in this case, I'm talking about everything from that perspective. That Chobe in this case is having a plan to enter into Myanmar. So Cambodia market is important for him, because in case the company is not doing something well in Cambodia, the same thing might happen, might happen even in Myanmar in that case, right? So now in this case, they look at one thing. The offer from Gursim to market for a product seemed appealing, but Tiang's lack of leadership and direction, the high marketing cost, the wrong customer segmentation, right, and the MR's preference for promoting easy-to-sell products had Chauve preoccupied. Now I think the second particular line in this paragraph is very important. I have covered almost everything. In case the students have not read the case study, but they have read this particular paragraph, they can simply say what are the main issues happening in this case study. High marketing cost, lack of leadership, right? Wrong customer segmentation, sales reps selling easy to sell but low profit products, right? So everything is covered in this paragraph. So that can be your concluding paragraph. Right? Similarly, in case of Ajanta packaging, right? So what the company has done, the company has in the last 2 years, the time frame is 2015 to 17. They have reduced the dependence on few customers, which was happening earlier in that case. And then he is coming up to the last thing here, that the order is large, 50 million order, but very low profit. And accepting the order with, 60-day payment period and short delivery turnaround is going to affect companies' other orders, right? So that's how we are looking at the dilemma of this particular case study. Right? Exhibits has to be included typically. Again, I'm saying you can look at the formats of the journals. There are journals who ask for the exhibits to be there in the main file itself, that okay, in the paragraph you're saying something, right, and you put the exhibits after the paragraph. But most of the publishing houses like IV or IMD or WDI, they simply request for the exhibits at the end of the case study. Siddharth, you want to say something?
No, sir.
Okay. Right. So what is going to be your in the exhibits? It can be financial data, historical information, the case study which I have written on Netflix, that is talking about when the company was started. So instead of rating all those things in the case itself, many times it's difficult for the students to, they feel simply that writing something about Netflix, it's an old company now, can be tedious. But making an exhibit when the company was started, what are the main milestones of the company, can make it more effective in that case. Right, so exhibits are numbered and they're noted within the case body. One thing which I will like to highlight for all of you to include that thing in your case studies, right? Case should highlight practical application of theory. Now it all depends on like this. For example, when I talk about Ajanta packaging case study, nowhere in the case study I'm talking about the key management theory in that case, but I'm talking about the key accounts. So what is going to happen in my teaching note, I'm talking about key account management. So I'm introducing the key account management theory. What are different practices you can follow for key accounts in the different quadrants. The case study should reflect the ambiguity of the situation, right? The intent here is to create a dialogue, that there are few students who are saying yes, there are few students who are saying no, and then you can say why you are saying yes, why someone is saying no, right? And that's how we can encourage critical thinking. This will also help your students to really, do some more research and then evaluate the recommendations. Again, I'm saying that in case you're working for writing case study on a startup or an entrepreneur, the industry information may not be available with these people, because someone who is managing the business, for example, the 39 bakers, first of all, when you're writing a case study on 39 bakers, there's no fun of talking about even the national sales or the national revenues, because 39 bakers is not entering into the mass marketing. They're going to all the states of India or something like this, right? So you have to think about, maybe you can talk about the sales in a particular region or a particular area in that case. So but you can surely use published sources in that case.
Okay, sir.
Ensure you have correct documentation with citations. Today in the morning also, I wasted around 2 hours. I think one of the co-author, what we made mistake was while writing something, we instead of 7.4, we wrote it 7.3, and the case study is going to be published. But IV copy editor simply asked that this and not is not showing the information, and for 2 hours I was simply copying that particular line and I was googling it. I could not find it. Finally I read an article where it was showing 7.4%, and whatever I was doing, I was simply putting the links on Safari and then Control F 7.3, 7.3. So I will request that whenever you're taking information from the other sources, published sources, please make it sure that you take. It's better to spend 10 minutes extra while doing that thing when you're taking that reference, instead of spending 2 hours, what I did today, after 3 months or 4 months when you're going to have a publication, right? So it will be really helpful. I will also request that all of you can work on track changes so that what are the changes made by the other authors. Yes, Durai. Durai, you have to unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. My question here is, suppose if I have watched a movie or heard a story which is very impressive and I think I can make a case out of it, can I do that? It need not be real. Can I do that?
Yes, you can surely do that thing, right?
Okay, because if I send it for publication, if they ask for all these details, I might not have all these details. The details that you should have ultimately for a publication.
So you have to see what are going to be the places where you can get it published.
Okay. Fine. Okay. Thank you.
I think there was more person who raised hand. It was Momita. Yes, Momita.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. So just the one point I need an explanation. Like you told me that the case should highlight practical applications of the theory. So if I use one theory like human capital theory or resource-based theory, if I'm using it or explaining it at some point of time in the case, how much of extent do I go on explaining the same as a literature in my case?
Okay, Momita, I appreciate this question because many times the new case authors, when they're writing a case study, they typically write it like a research paper. First of all, the theory which you're thinking about is going to be part of your teaching note and not going to be part of your case study. Right?
So how much do we mention, sir, in the case? How much?
You need not to mention anything. You cannot write that 4 to 5 courses or marketing mix analysis. I think you have to avoid that thing in the case itself.
Okay.
Right?
Got it, sir. Okay, thank you, sir.
So, Momita, I will request all of you. I have given you, I think, 6 or 7 case studies as a reading material. Please have a look at it.
Right, sir. Sure. Yes, sir. I'm reading it, sir. Yeah.
And even in fact, you can read other case studies also. Maybe I'll request Vineet and Mohit to at least share 4 or 5 case studies from Emerald portfolio also, so that you people can have some idea about how citations, how the formats and other things are being followed here. Right? Many times we use endnotes and footnotes, but many journals, they prefer to go for references, right? So you have to see that thing there. Yes, Navneet.
Thanks, Professor Sandeep. I have 2 related questions. One is you said that a good point to start a case study is have a decision dilemma and 4 good questions. Now, for each of these 4 good questions, should there be a theory or a academic model behind, so that we enforce the student to understand the theory or model as they address the particular question? That is my first question. Then I will ask my second one.
Okay, so Navneet, not necessarily. For example, for Ajanta packaging, I'm having 5 questions, but I have used theory only in 1 question. Similarly, for Sarva Cambodia, again, I'm in that case, I think I'm having 6 or 7 questions, but I have used GE framework only in 1 part of 1 answer question. And I can say that 6.5 questions are without any theory.
Okay, then in that case, the second question is, in the teaching notes, the response to the other questions, which does not have theory, is what your own interpretation of the case, and you write the answers. Is it something like that? Why I'm asking this is because I saw your case studies which you had sent. Unfortunately, the teaching notes are not there because I'm not able to correlate the case study with the teaching notes.
Okay, so you have read the teaching note, or you have not read the teaching note?
I have not seen the teaching note. Along with, like, I read that RX case. I looked at the salesman's dilemma. For the salesman dilemma, in the corners, I read the questions, some 7 or 8 questions, but I could not read the teaching note. So I wanted to know what is the connect between how to connect the case with the teaching notes. That is what is my fundamental question.
Right. So Ronit, tomorrow we are going to discuss more about the teaching note. The thing is, I cannot share the teaching notes with you. In case you have access from your library, I think IIT Madras must be having the access, so you can access the teaching notes through your library.
Oh, okay. I see. I'm not keen. Okay, point noted. My point is, I want to know how to link. What should be the bridge between teaching notes and the case study questions? That is my idea. Probably tomorrow, maybe I'll learn once you explain the same. Thanks. I'll hold it till that time.
Right now. Okay, just to show you some more things we discussed yesterday. This was Server Cambodia, right? So what was the content here? The content was company background, sales and marketing, distribution and promotion. These are all subheadings. The green colored are subheadings, right? What is happening in Server Cambodia? We are talking about Server Farmers marketing, and we're talking about John Tiang, the company head. Then the pharmaceutical industry in Cambodia and the challenges. This is what the main content of the case study is, right? And these are 5 questions which I've asked in that case. Second case study was Ajanta packaging. Now, in case of Ajanta packaging, the content is more about company background, Indian packaging industry, glass bottle industry, what are challenges of the glass bottle industry. In this case, this is the only theoretical part, what is key account management at a counter, right? And then key accounts, then SF Foods and Ajanta packaging, and finally the dilemma of the case study. So this is what is there in Ajanta packaging, already there with you. These are 7 questions which I'm asking in Ajanta packaging, but the 4th question is the only theoretical questions. Right. So what we are going to do tomorrow in that case? Looking at the way we have done the things, I think we got into a little bit longer presentations. So what I want all of you to do here is it possible for you to tomorrow cover only one thing, that what is going to be the content of your case study? So for example, Glenn presented that, okay, this is going to be a dilemma we are going to work on. So what you need to share tomorrow is, maybe I will say instead of 5 minutes, it can be even 3 minutes, that you just make a Word file, not need to make a PPT. In the Word file, you tell us what is going to be the heading of your case study. Is it okay with everyone? Vineet, Mohit, in case you want to add something here.
Right, sir. So you want to, like, I think, sir, students also need to go certain theories, like what one of the candidate was saying. He was referring to that linkage of teaching note and with this thing main case study. So if you can start the presentation a bit in the second session, and if you can give some theoretical inputs, then maybe if there is certain changes, if any team requires, they can do it, and then they can give the presentation.
Okay, right, Vineet, that's not an issue. But Vineet, the theoretical linkage is going to be part of teaching note. It's not going to be there in the case study, right? So what I'm expecting from all of them is that, I don't want any team to spend time in those 3 hours. I just want that once we start the session, then everyone is already there in the session and we can discuss about it. So let's do one thing. We will start tomorrow's day with a 3-minute presentation by all the teams, talking only about Word file. No need to make a PPT. Don't write who the team members and something like this. Word file with only, maybe you can take even 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Word file talking about the content of the case study, right? This is going to be my case study.
So only the headlines, right?
Yes, only the headings, only the headings.
Okay. And do you expect the title also?
Title is not important as of now,
Okay.
right? So
Okay, sir.
no need to write a title. What I want you people to write is maybe it's the company's Mon-Ami. So title can be company background, right? And then the other things the company is doing.
Okay.
Right. So we will just have a formal structure of the case study. That's what I want to sensitize all of you, right? And then we can go ahead with our teaching note part. Second thing which you people need to be ready is going to be the 5 questions. Some of the teams are already ready with the 5 questions. Some teams need to rework on their dilemma. Don't worry, I think you have a deadline of 30th June. So you still have lots of time to improvise and do other things. So right now, just have the 5 questions that come to your mind that, okay, with my case study, students can answer these 5 questions, right? We will have something about teaching note after some time, not at the start of the day, right? So start of the day, we'll start with the presentations, with the main content of the case, main content, the headings of the case, headings, subheadings, right? That's all. And then we'll get into the teaching note. What are things which are required in teaching notes? So we'll discuss more about it. What are the suggested reading, supplementary reading, learning objectives? We'll discuss all those things tomorrow in that case. Right? Anyone, any question? Abhimanyu, yes, Abhimanyu.
Sir, I have a query. Can you share the recordings with the organizers so they can recirculate with the participants?
Yes, Abhinav, I have shared, Abhimanyu, I have shared it late, but I have already shared first day's recording with Vineet.
Okay, sir, that would be fine.
Okay, so thanks a lot. Thank you very much. Please take good care and stay safe.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
so
sir.
much,
It's very good. It was very good.
Thank you, sir.
I have a question.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Sir, one of the participant has some questions.
Yes, yes, please. I'm still here.
Thank you.
Yes, Mohammed Sharik or Dr. Ricardo, you have a question?
No, I'm just saying thank you for the presentation.
Thanks.
Okay. Anybody wants to have, I guess, Ashwin, you had certain questions. Ashwin, are you there? Because during the presentation, I think he yes, Durai, you want to ask some question?
No, I don't have it. Thank you.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Thank you, sir.